Chapter 12:21 Love Comes. Hearing that his brother was arranging for him to claim Immortal GU from the treasury, Fang Yuan smiled. In his case, he did not lack Immortal GU. Forget about rank 6 Immortal GU, Fang Yuan even had many rank 7 Immortal GU. As for rank 8, Fang Yuan had Attitude GU, Years Flow Like Water Immortal GU, and Wisdom Sword Immortal GU. Right now, the most important one was Attitude GU. Wisdom Sword Immortal GU needed rank 8 Immortal Essence, while Years Flow Like Water had a huge drawback of attracting immemorial year beasts. But in terms of numbers, Fang Yuan had more rank 8 Immortal GU than Wu Yang. He even had rank 9 Wisdom GU. Although, strictly speaking, Wisdom GU did not belong to Fang Yuan. Inside Wu clan's treasury, there were indeed many useful or powerful Immortal GU, and there was a high chance that many Immortal GU suited Fang Yuan's needs. But deep down, Fang Yuan clearly understood, at this juncture, there was one thing that he needed the most. Dream Realm. As long as he could enter the Dream Realm, Fang Yuan could use Unravel Dream to rapidly raise his attainment levels. When his attainment levels rise, he would be able to annex more Immortal Apertures. Unlike now, he was restricted by his attainment levels, he could not annex many Blessed Lands. There were relatively few GU Immortals. In a single region, there were merely several hundred GU Immortals, most of them were rank 6, few were rank 7, and rank 8 GU Immortals were usually the ones at the peak. Among these GU Immortals, Fang Yuan could only annex some of the rank 6 and 7 Immortal Apertures. And among these, only those which he had suitable attainment levels could be annexed. He could not go to Central Continent. As for the other 4 regions, there were many GU Immortals that Fang Yuan could not touch. Like those with close relationships to rank 8 GU Immortals, or those who were hard to find, are people like Feng Juzhe and Shi Lei. Therefore, at the end of the day, Fang Yuan did not have many Immortal Apertures to annex. Earlier, he could annex a lot and raise his cultivation level. On one hand, it was Fang Yuan's accumulation, he had killed many GU Immortals and obtained a lot of information, but on the other hand, Fang Yuan had sufficient luck. Raising his attainment levels in all the different paths had great benefits for Fang Yuan. It increased the range of his choices drastically. He would be able to annex even more Immortal Apertures. Earlier, I annexed Immortal Apertures and raised my cultivation level from rank 6 to 7. But after reaching rank 7, annexing rank 6 Immortal Apertures to skip calamities and tribulations has a far smaller effect. My cultivation level is rising at an unavoidably slower speed. But after raising my attainment levels in different paths, my rank 7 cultivation level would start to climb up rapidly again. The speed would not be as fast as before. After all, rank 7 Immortal Apertures are very rare, but compared to normal cultivation, it is still extremely shocking. Of course, Fang Yuan could not estimate the actual speed. Because it depended on the situation. If he was lucky enough, he would be able to annex many rank 7 Blessed Lands at once. With enough of them, he would rise to rank 8, it was not impossible. This was the power of the Sovereign Immortal Aperture. Spectral Soul had spent 100,000 years, sacrificing Shadow Sect and Zombie Alliance to create this Immortal GU, there was good reason for it. For ordinary GU Immortals, this cultivation method was impossible. However, there are not many rank 7 Blessed Lands. Even if I add up all 5 regions, I can forget about advancing to rank 8 for now. Fang Yuan thought about it, the chances of becoming rank 8 immediately were too slim. He had a clear mind. Fang Yuan was not overly greedy, he knew what was important, and what was less of a concern. Thus, facing Wu Yang, he said, I do not need to go to the treasury, I know what I want. Oh, Wu Yang was surprised. Next, Fang Yuan said the names of 2 Immortal GU, one was rank 6, the other was rank 7. Wu Yang was even more surprised now, he looked at Fang Yuan deeply, having understood what he wanted. But he still pretended to be unaware. These 2 Immortal GU are part of the Super GU formation, they have been used already to encircle that giant dream realm. Are you sure you want them? Fang Yuan nodded without any hesitation, showing that he had made his decision. In order to create the Super GU formation and protect the Dream Realm, the Righteous Path forces in southern border had contributed both manpower and resources. Wu clan put in 6 Immortal GU, there was no need to conceal this information. Fang Yuan had learned about it from Chao clan's GU Immortals. As for why he chose these 2 Immortal GU, it was because they were extremely crucial to the operations of the Super GU formation. One could say, if Fang Yuan became the owner of these Immortal GU, he would have the biggest say in the Super GU formation. Fang Yuan continued to speak earnestly. Brother, you have been in the clan since you were born, you have the support of Southern Border's strongest super force. But I am different, I grew up in Eastern Sea without anyone's help. I am a lone cultivator, you have never been a lone cultivator, you will not know our pain. Therefore, this time, I thought of coming to Southern Border, to join Wu Clan. I do not want to go back to Eastern Sea anymore. I admit that I have my ambitions, but which GU Immortal has no ambition? Brother, I will speak the truth. You are a rank 8 GU Immortal, you have rank 8 Immortal GU, you are the first Supreme Elder of Wu Clan, you live freely in Wu Clan. As for me, I came from Eastern Sea, I only have rank 7 cultivation level, I have some transformation path methods, but how can I compete against you? I have never thought of fighting with you. I merely want my cultivation journey to continue. Chao Clan has an alliance agreement with me, therefore they supported me to come here. I was forced to, without Chao Clan's help, I could not even attend mother's funeral. But I am still a Wu Clansman, Wu Clan's bloodline flows within me. My mother might have left me when I was a baby, but she had asked me to return in her final days. No matter what she thinks, she is still my birth mother all along. These last few days, I have been thinking, the Dream Realm's location is where I want to go. I am willing to leave Wu Clan and cultivate there forever. All I want is some support from the clan, so that I would not be without cultivation resources. That way, I will be satisfied. Fang Yuan spoke with sincerely, it was a moving speech. Towards the end, his eyes even turned red, he bowed deeply to Wu Yang. Wu Yang was moved, he left his seat, going towards Fang Yuan and grabbing his shoulders. My brother, he spoke, his voice was trembling, his expression was agitated. You are my younger brother, we have the same mother. I understand your intentions, I understand your hardships, and I am glad that you understand my difficulties. Since that is so, I will agree to your request. Do not forget what you said today. Elder brother, Fang Yuan choked, tears falling down from the corners of his eyes. I will not forget today's words. Brother is granting my wish, I will support you fully. In the future, unless brother agrees, I will not act on my own and step into Wu Clan's headquarters at all. I will also not interact with Wu Clan's GU Immortals excessively. Wu Yang grabbed Fang Yuan's hands, patting the back of his hands. You will not let me down, and I will not let you down. A moment later, Fang Yuan left the hall. Finally, I can go to the Super GU formation and openly explore the Dream Realm. The excitement in his heart could not be described to others. Meanwhile, Wu Yang sat down on his seat, having a deep gaze in his eyes. My younger brother knows what's best for him, he is clear of the current situation. Not bad indeed. He did not mention the Immortal GU inheritance at all, and even volunteered to leave Wu Clan's headquarters. With his absence, I will be able to control the clan as rapidly as possible. The Dream Realm is also very useless. Current methods cannot excavate this mountain of treasures. As long as he guards the Super GU formation quietly, and cultivate in peace, without trying to gain authority in Wu Clan, so what if I have to give him many more times the cultivation resources he is asking for? The Dream Realm is like this now, but the future is not certain. After all, this is a prophecy regarding Great Dream Immortal Venerable Hehe, speaking of which, my younger brother's ambitions are not small. However, just as he said, who has no ambitions? It is not scary to have ambitions, it is scary if your ambitions are so big you cannot recognize your own limits and do something stupid beyond your abilities. For example, Chao Clan HMPH. Central Continent, Spirit Affinity House. Zhao Lianyun knelt on the ground like a statue. The house in front of her was shut tight, there was no disturbance. Feng Jinhuang no longer lived here. Zhao Lianyun knew this, but she still continued to kneel here. Because she knew that this was her only hope. She had to grab onto it, because other than this, there were no other options. At this moment, Zhao Lianyun's legs were numb, she was so tired she felt dizzy. In her daze, memories of the past surfaced in her mind. There was a grassland with budding wildflowers. This flower is for you, Lady Xiaoyun, they say that women love flowers. Ma Hongyun brought a bunch of flowers with him as he stood in front of Zhao Lianyun, smiling sheepishly. It stinks. Zhao Lianyun covered her nose, saying in disgust, what flowers did you pick? These smelly fly flowers only grow on top of animal feces. Take them away from me. Ma Hongyun was stunned, he answered, precisely because they grow on feces, they are big and strong. Zhao Lianyun was rolling her eyes, she stepped on Ma Hongyun's leg angrily, get lost. Fool, why are you finding me flowers, you should think of how to please your young master. You idiot. Ma Hongyun was jumping from the pain. He said meekly, I wanted to thank you, thanks for lying for me, otherwise, I would have been executed for stealing shoes. Scenes of the past faded gradually. Zhao Lianyun returned to the cold hard reality. Big fool. But, what am I doing now? I seem like a fool too, huh? To think that I, Zhao Lianyun, would act so foolishly as well. You always do foolish things, but the results always end up good. I am not you, but, this is the only thing that I can do. I am just a normal person. Thinking of this, tears rolled down Zhao Lianyun's eyes. The grief and agony in her heart could not be described with words. At this time, in her blurry vision, she saw a GU. Rank 9, Love GU. It was flying in front of Zhao Lianyun. Chapter 1222, Current Generation Fairy, Zhao Lianyun. Rank 9 Love GU. Zhao Lianyun did not recognize this GU worm, but that did not stop her from noticing this GU worm's uniqueness. Because in her vision, this GU worm had become the center of the world, its body was glowing with multicolored lights, the entire GU worm seemed to be the hottest flame burning in the universe. All of reality would be overturned, everything in this world would revolve around it. Is this a miracle? Zhao Lianyun's face was covered in tears, a final thought was produced in her mind. Next, she fell onto the ground, falling unconscious. Spirit Affinity House was in a commotion. Love GU, it was the signature Immortal GU of Spirit Affinity House. It flew out of its resting place to Zhao Lianyun's side. Most importantly, when Zhao Lianyun was unconscious, it did not fly away, it remained on her shoulder. That night, Spirit Affinity House recalled all of the GU Immortals in the sect, holding an emergency meeting to discuss this matter. Spirit Affinity House's first Supreme Elder, second Supreme Elder, and third Supreme Elder, Feng Juzhe, Fairy Bai Qing, Shu Hao, Li Junying, and the others had gathered, the auras of immortals mixed together, the highest number of GU immortals from Spirit Affinity House had gathered together for the first time in hundreds of years. Everyone, we know about the rules of the sect. Now that Love GU has acknowledged Zhao Lianyun, she is the sect's current generation fairy. Shu Hao spoke expressionlessly, but intense joy could be felt from his tone. Back then, he had advised Zhao Lianyun, he was just trying to target Feng Jinhuang and damage her reputation, to elevate Zhao Lianyun's own prestige. He did not think that Zhao Lianyun would be so stubborn, continuing to kneel there without giving up. Shu Hao was helpless about this. He nurtured Zhao Lianyun and used her as a chess piece to deal with Feng Jinhuang. His real goal was to attack Feng Jinhuang's father, Feng Juzhe. A place with people interacting would have internal and external conflicts. When an organization is big, there would be many factions in it. Right now, the Feng faction with Feng Juzhe at the lead had the greatest authority in Spirit Affinity House. Shu Hao, Li Junying, and the others were suppressed by the Feng faction, unable to lift their heads. Thankfully, Spirit Affinity House's two rank 8 GU immortals, first Supreme Elder and second Supreme Elder, were impartial, they did not side with anyone, only looking at the benefits of Spirit Affinity House. This allowed Shu Hao and Li Junying to remain as part of the sect's core authority despite the Feng faction's power. Zhao Lianyun knelt and begged Feng Jinhuang. Most people could only see the surface of the matter, only a few understood that this was a political conflict in Spirit Affinity House. Zhao Lianyun was a mere mortal, but after inheriting the Thieving Heaven True Inheritance, she was qualified to compete with Feng Jinhuang for the position of Spirit Affinity House's fairy. Shu Hao made Zhao Lianyun his political tool. Originally, Shu Hao was thinking that he could not let Zhao Lianyun kneel anymore. In his opinion, as a political performance, it was already enough. If Zhao Lianyun continued kneeling, she would be like an idiot, there were no gains for her. But several hours ago, when Shu Hao heard that Love GU had stayed by Zhao Lianyun's side of its own accord, he was stunned. After his heavy shock, he felt intense joy. He acutely sensed that this was a God-sent opportunity. This gift was too precious, he almost fainted from happiness. This was an unbelievably rare chance. He needed to use this opportunity to make Zhao Lianyun Spirit Affinity House's fairy. Then on this basis, he would retaliate against the Feng faction. This was an unprecedented opportunity for Shu Hao in the sect. As long as he made use of this chance, his future in the sect would change drastically for the better. Shu Hao did not doubt this. Thus, he was the first to stand up and support Zhao Lianyun for the position, to become Spirit Affinity House's current generation fairy. He spoke. Our sect rules are clear. In choosing the fairies, first, we listen to the masses, then we look at aptitude, finally, we look at the preference of higher-ups. The meaning was, they would first see what the people in the sect thinks, before looking at the aptitude and talent of the participant, and finally, it would depend on who suited the preferences of the higher-up GU immortals more. Shu Hao continued to speak. Right now, in terms of the masses, Zhao Lianyun might be an otherworldly demon, but she has love and loyalty. In order to save her lover, she knelt down to her opponent. The entire sect knows about her character, and in terms of aptitude, it is not important. As long as we are willing, we can raise a mortal's aptitude easily. I believe that everyone has heard of her experiences in Northern Plains. She is an elite in terms of talent. And finally, everyone's preferences. I greatly acknowledge Zhao Lianyun. I express my support towards her in becoming our fairy. I concur. Shu Hao had just said that when Li Junying added this. She was Shu Hao's wife. They had the same opinion in this. This was not strange, but the following scene was shocking to others. I agree with Shu Hao. I approve of Shu Hao's perspective. Even Love Gu acknowledged Zhao Lianyun. What else do I have to say? At once, 5 to 6 Gu immortals agreed with Shu Hao's words. Fairy Bai Qing could not stand it anymore. She felt. It seemed that everyone here agreed with Shu Hao. They felt that the position of Spirit Affinity House's fairy should go to Zhao Lianyun. Fairy Bai Qing was a GU immortal of Spirit Affinity House, but more than that, she was Feng Jinhuang's mother. The position of fairy in Spirit Affinity House was very special. She was the cultivation seed that was chosen by the entire Spirit Affinity House. Even the mortals were part of the selection process. Next, they would invest heavily in her and nurture her to become immortal. Every generation's fairy would be Spirit Affinity House's representative when they fully matured. Spirit Affinity House was an organization, and organizations not only needed old experts, but also new GU immortals, to inject fresh blood and keep the system going smoothly. Fairy Bai Qing herself was a fairy of Spirit Affinity House. She had felt for herself the experience of having an entire sect support her cultivation. Even though Feng Zhuzhe and Bai Qing were both GU immortals and could totally fund their daughter, Feng Jinhuang, for her immortal ascension easily, this type of support paled in comparison to the funding of the entire sect. Fairy Bai Qing did not want to see her daughter lose. But she understood deeply. Right now, the situation was very disadvantageous for her. Because the sect rules were, in choosing a fairy, other than listening to the masses, looking at aptitude, and the higher-ups' preference, there was also an important part, that was. Once Love Gu acknowledged someone, no matter how disliked they were, or how bad their aptitude was, or even how badly received they were by the GU immortal higher-ups, they would become the current generation fairy, regardless of the situation or whether they were male or female. Because of this rule, after Shu Hao finished speaking, he gained the approval of many GU immortals. They expressed their support. In fact, Shu Hao's own political force was not strong. Normally, he would not garner such support. Even though the sect rules are as such, it is not a hopeless situation. Because in our sect's history, there was a fairy that was promoted because of this rule, and in the end Fairy Bai Qing thought of this and was about to speak. But at this time, Feng Zhuzhe pressed down on her hand softly. Don't be anxious. I know, you want to mention Mo Yao, right? Back then, she was just an Inkman slave, but she gained the acknowledgement of Love Gu and was funded by the entire sect to become a GU immortal, and even managed to reform Bo Qing. But in the end, she betrayed the sect. She defied Heavenly Court. Feng Zhuzhe transmitted. Fairy Bai Qing nodded, replying to him secretly. That's right, this is Huang Er's only hope. As long as we use this point and continue arguing, using the strength of Feng faction, we might be able to get the sect to change this rule. After all, rules are made by people, isn't that right? This sect rule does not make sense. But Feng Zhuzhe shook his head. He rejected Fairy Bai Qing's idea. Shu Hao is a wisdom path GU immortal. Why did he not mention the sect rules in his earlier speech? He only talked about the first 3 conditions, and seemingly forgot about this sect rule that was most advantageous for him. Fairy Bai Qing was slightly stunned. Feng Zhuzhe continued. This is his scheme, his trap. If you talk about it, you will fall into his plot. Even though Bo Qing and Mo Yao had caused such a situation, the sect rules did not change. After the Battle of Yitian Mountain, our sect suffered a lot of pressure, but our rules had not changed either. This is a very deep issue. There is more than meets the eye. If you want to use Feng faction's power to challenge it foolishly, wanting to change this rule, we will lose miserably. We would suffer heavy losses while Shu Hao would be completely intact. That is what he wants to see. Fairy Bai Qing's body was covered in cold sweat. I was rash. She quickly calmed down. After a while, she thought about why she made such a mistake. Because it involved Huang I became confused due to love. No, there is another reason. I became a rank 7 GU Immortal and gained rank 7 Immortal GU. Compared to before, I was overconfident. Because I am in the righteous path, battle strength is not everything. If hubby did not remind me today, I would have committed a huge mistake. Thinking of this, Fairy Bai Qing unconsciously looked at Feng Juzhe. She felt a strong feeling of protection from him. Even though Feng Juzhe was from the demonic path, after all these years he had demonstrated his skills. Being in the sect did not require just battle strength, his political abilities were also far superior to her, otherwise, how could his Feng faction have such brilliance today? Since you can expose Shu Hao's trap, I will entrust this matter to you. Fairy Bai Qing transmitted secretly, there was sweet affection in her tone. Feng Juzhe smiled bitterly. This matter, I am not going to interfere. Because interfering is of no use. What do you mean? Fairy Bai Qing was stunned. Feng Juzhe did not speak, he looked at the sky. He did not fall for it. Shu Hao was originally waiting for someone to jump out, but nobody objected to his words, even Feng Juzhe was keeping silent, he felt that it was a pity. But he quickly collected his thoughts, feeling confident inside, forget it. Since nobody objected, this matter is decided. But first Supreme Elder suddenly said, I have understood everyone's stances. But Zhao Lianyun has a special background, she is an otherworldly demon. I will report the result of our discussion to the higher-ups, they will decide themselves. What? Shu Hao was completely stunned. Chapter 1223. Entering the GU formation openly. Southern border. The remains of Yitian Mountain. Lord Wu Yihai, this way please. Wu Wen bowed as he led the way. Fang Yuan nodded. In front of him, an entrance opened in the Super GU formation. Please, Lord, enter first. Wu Wen gave way as he smiled affectionately. Wu Yihai's identity was now known to almost everyone in Southern Border's GU Immortal world. Fang Yuan arrived directly and became Wu Clan's person in charge for the Super Dream Realm. Wu Wen with only rank 6 cultivation level was his direct subordinate, he had to curry favor. Fang Yuan had yet to take over the role, but Wu Wen had already flown out of the Super GU formation, staying at a mountain for 2 days and 2 nights 100 li away, just to receive Fang Yuan when he arrived. When he saw Fang Yuan, he immediately lowered himself and stuck to Fang Yuan like a fly. Whatever he was asked, he answered to the best of his abilities. If Fang Yuan wanted to kick his butt, he would definitely move his butt over to Fang Yuan's leg so that he could kick it more conveniently. But this was exactly why he gave Fang Yuan a good understanding of all the GU Immortals who were here from different clans defending the Super GU formation, as well as this current situation. Fang Yuan did not stand on ceremony with Wu Wen, he entered first as Wu Wen followed after him, smiling and lowering his head. Many GU Immortals were looking at this scene secretly. Wu Yihai is here. Not long ago, he used Wu Clan's Immortal Killer move and got rid of his status as an Eastern CGU Immortal, he is now a true member of Southern Border. Ba Quanfeng said as he observed the expression of the GU Immortal beside him carefully. It was none other than the publicly recognized strongest rank 7 expert in Southern Border's GU Immortal world, Old Treeman Bada. Bada retracted his gaze, saying plainly, let's observe for now. Saying this, he turned around and left. It seemed like Wu Yihai's appearance was just an insignificant matter to him. Ba Quanfeng was disappointed. He wanted to see Bada's reaction. Wu Yihai was here but he was a newbie, be it in the Super GU formation, or in Southern Border's GU Immortal world, he was a newcomer. Wu Dushu died, Wu Clan only had one rank 8 GU Immortal left, Wu Yong, their strength had fallen drastically, many clans were waiting to strike. Especially the strong Ba Clan. In the past, when Wu Clan was strong, Ba Quanfeng had many opinions about it. Now that one of Wu Clan's rank 8 GU Immortals was dead, and a newcomer, Wu Yihai, was here, he unavoidably had some notions of suppressing him to vent his frustration. Unfortunately, Bada said that they would observe for now. After all, nobody knew about Wu Yihai's strength and methods. Bada was a dependable and experienced old schemer. If Wu Yihai was naive or had low strength, he would not mind making Ba Clan the main controller of this Super GU formation. Inside the Super GU formation, there was space inside, that surrounded the entire Super Dream Realm, forming something like a giant city. Each segment was guarded by one clan. The 13 Righteous Path forces split the space in this Super GU formation into 13 portions. The space that Wu Clan occupied was huge, it was one of the largest among the 13. The only clan that was comparable to them was Ba Clan. Even Tai Clan and Shang Clan were inferior. Fang Yuan entered it, and because he had information provided by Wu Clan, and he had his lackey, Wuan, he did not lose his way. Soon, he found his way to the core, and met with another GU immortal from Wu Clan, Wu Liao. This person had broad shoulders and a thin waist, he looked very brave and heroic, there was a needle-like beard under his chin, he greeted Fang Yuan without any tone of submission. Greetings to Lord Wu Yihai. Please pardon me for not receiving you, I was tasked to stay here. His tone was calm, pride was rooted in him. Fang Yuan felt very amused. Wuan and Wu Liao, they both had rank 6 cultivation level, but their attitudes were a stark contrast. Now that Wu Yihai was here, all of Wu Clan's stationed GU immortals were here in the Super GU formation. Originally, there was a rank 7 GU immortal. But since Fang Yuan came, he was sent off elsewhere. Wu Clan was huge, it was the #1 force in Southern Border's righteous path, but it did not have many GU immortals that could be used. Every GU immortal was a portion of strength that needed to be used wisely and carefully, in the right areas. Let's solve the main issues first. I am sure you know about our clan's orders. Bring me to refine my 2 immortal GU. Fang Yuan said. This was the first important mission. Wu Liao saw that Wu Yihai worked at a rapid speed, he felt a sense of acknowledgement towards him. Wu Wen quickly ran to Fang Yuan's side, smiling in a fawning manner. Lord, this way please, I will bring you there now. A moment later, Fang Yuan successfully refined the 2 immortal GU. Refining other people's immortal GU was not easy. But with Wu Clan's cooperation, it was a different story. Fang Yuan finally let out a sigh of relief. He knew, Wu Clan's treasury definitely had immortal GU that were better or more suited for himself. But he still chose these 2 immortal GU regardless. He did this because he had his own considerations. With these 2 immortal GU, Fang Yuan could plant his roots into this Super GU formation. From now on, even if Wu Clan wanted to move Fang Yuan away, they had to consider this point. This Super GU formation was already established, every immortal GU was tightly linked, changing a single one would adversely affect it. Every immortal GU that each clan controlled was also the investment that the clan was putting into the giant dream realm, it affected the distribution of power and authority that the respective clans had in this place. Lord, I have prepared some supper for you to eat. After Fang Yuan refined the immortal GU, Wu Wen quickly came over and said this to him in a subservient manner. Fang Yuan was expressionless, he responded with a grunt. Wu Wen suddenly seemed like he had heard some heavenly music, he quickly led the way joyfully. Lord, this way please. Wu Liao snorted coldly, showing disdain in his eyes, he did not like Wu An's fawning. But Fang Yuan said, Wu Liao, follow us, I have some things to ask you too. Yes, Lord, Wu Liao replied respectfully. The banquet was indeed not bad, the dishes and wines were very delicious. Fang Yuan sat at the main seat while Wu Wen and Wu Liao sat on his left and right. Fang Yuan knew that there was a possibility of bias and misinformation, he could not listen to Wu An's words alone. Thus, during the banquet, he asked the 2 of them many questions. Wu Wen and Wu Liao answered respectfully. After the banquet ended, Fang Yuan gained an even clearer understanding of the situation at the Super GU formation, there was a vivid picture in his mind. In Fang Yuan's plan, for a long time in the future, he was going to cultivate here secretly. He had to be clear of the environment here. The righteous path and demonic path was different, the demonic path acted freely while the righteous path talked about rules. What were the rules of the righteous path? It was nothing more than just customs created over a long period of time, rules of a game that involved the distribution of benefits. Fang Yuan understood that since he came here using Wu Yihai's identity, he had to settle matters using righteous path methods. If he used demonic path methods here, his enemies would laugh happily, and his clan would distance themselves from him. Even if Wu Yang sides with his brother, he would not be able to endure the pressure, for the sake of the clan, he would need to move Fang Yuan elsewhere. After all, Wu clan was led by Wu Yang. Wu clan was once the dominant clan, but Ba clan, Shang clan, and Tai clan were not willing to be under Wu clan. Chao clan was Wu clan's most loyal ally. But after Wu Dushu's death, the situation had changed greatly. Ba clan was stirring and ready to strike, especially when old Treeman Bada was the one sent here to guard the dream realm. With just this, Fang Yuan could acutely sense that from now on, Ba clan was going to be his main competitor. As for Chao clan, Fang Yuan felt somewhat of a headache. He came here, he had gone against the agreement with Chao clan. As for what Chao clan's attitude would be and how much support they would give him, Fang Yuan was uncertain. After the banquet, Fang Yuan sent Wu Wen and Wu Liao away, resting alone. Before leaving, Wu An wanted to say some things, but he was very hesitant about it. Wu Liao left quietly. He had an improving opinion of Fang Yuan after this. During the banquet, he asked very precise questions. Even though Wu Liao had difficulties answering them, he felt confident in Fang Yuan's abilities as a result. For righteous path GU immortals, their own strength was the foundation, but it was not enough. They needed to be skilled in political methods as well. However, after the banquet, for the next few days, Fang Yuan did not show up in public. He was hiding in his own room, cultivating. Is this Wu Yihai really just a lone cultivator? Fang Yuan's actions were very much resembling lone cultivators. This made many GU immortals who were observing him secretly make such a guess. Wu Liao was a bit disappointed. He wanted a superior that could suppress the situation, not someone who was purely cultivating. Wu An felt very uneasy. These last days, he had invited Fang Yuan with all sorts of reasons. But Fang Yuan rejected them all. He even said that he should not be disturbed if there were no important matters. Wu An could not tell what Fang Yuan's thoughts were. As time passed, his anxiety turned into fear. And behind Wu An, there were also GU immortals from other clans. They were also very anxious. The reason was simple: the immortal opportunity business. Back then, they could do the immortal opportunity business because Wu clan had led them, colluding with several clans GU immortals to undergo this trade secretly. The original Wu clan ranked 7 GU immortal left. Wu Yihai was moved here. The immortal opportunity business thus had to stop, because the person in charge of Wu clan over here was Wu Yihai. Most importantly, he controlled 2 immortal GU. Wu An was fawning over Fang Yuan so desperately. Other than wanting to gain his protection, he also wanted to salvage the immortal opportunity business. Wu An obtained a lot of benefits from this. Without these benefits urging him, he would not have been so enthusiastic towards Fang Yuan. Initially, interactions between Fang Yuan and Wu An were developing well. But soon, Fang Yuan acted abnormally. Wu An was at a loss. The immortal opportunity business could not be exposed. If it was known publicly, they would be held responsible. This was an act of corruption. It was information that could be used against them. Without dragging Fang Yuan into this, Wu An felt uneasy. Gritting his teeth, he decided to take a risk. Chapter 1224. White Rabbit's Seduction 1/2. This servant greets Lord Wu Yihai. The female GU immortal knelt down before Fang Yuan's feet. She wore a white fur coat. It only wrapped around her chest and lower body. A large portion of her snow-white skin was exposed. Her ears were like rabbit ears, her eyes were red like rubies, her nose was small and delicate. She had an extremely cute appearance. In terms of beauty, she was only inferior to Shang Xinxi and Feng Jinhuang. At this moment, this female immortal was kneeling on the ground. Her forehead was touching the floor. Her huge chest was squeezed by the floor, experiencing a change in form. And her butt was high in the sky, attracting people's gazes. She was none other than Lady White Rabbit. Right now, she was pure yet wild. She was cute and embarrassed. Especially with her subservient attitude, when men see her, they would feel something emerging in their crotches. They would want to hug her tightly and give her some well-deserved love. Fang Yuan was feeling strange. Not long ago, he had offered this woman some cultivation resources in exchange for information on the GU immortal world. To think that now, this woman would be kneeling before his feet, subjecting herself to whatever he wanted to do. This is an attempt to seduce me. This Wu An took a risk and lied to me, saying that some important person wanted to report matters to me, therefore enabling Lady White Rabbit to meet me. It seems that these last few days, I had been secluded for too long. They are anxious now. They even used this method. The method is old and cliched, but it is very effective. Fang Yuan smiled, standing up from his seat, slowly walking towards Lady White Rabbit. Lady White Rabbit's forehead did not leave the concrete floor. With Fang Yuan's sharp eyes, he could see that Lady White Rabbit was trembling. She was nervous, Fang Yuan thought. He had interacted with Lady White Rabbit before, and with his 500 years of cultivation, he could tell that this woman was a pure lone cultivator. To think that she would offer her own body, this must be her first time doing this. Of course, Fang Yuan's judgment could be wrong, but there were likely to be few people in the 5 regions who could deceive him this thoroughly. Lady White Rabbit was indeed very nervous. She was nervous, her body was trembling, her heart was pounding. Even though she knew that she had to be calm and follow Wu An's words, she could not do it. Knowing was easy, doing was hard. Turns out seductions are not so easy after all. Lady White Rabbit sighed internally. Other than this, she felt some shame and anger, as well as disbelief. I am actually doing something like this. Why am I doing this? I am trying to seduce a man I have never even met before. Lady White Rabbit felt very strange. This was not something she would normally do. Before this, she was a pure lone cultivator, having no conflicts in the world. She cultivated in peace and quiet. If anyone told her that she would be on her knees doing this in the future, she would definitely fight that person without doubt. Why did it come to this? Lady White Rabbit thought about it. She had good connections with people, so one day, Wuan came to her and said that he had a huge fortune to share with her. Back then, Lady White Rabbit was very wary and suspicious. Why would something so good come to her? She felt that maybe Wuan was trying to cheat her money and body. But no, Lady White Rabbit managed the immortal opportunity business. She became the middleman. Both demonic path and lone immortals had basis to trust her. Of course, the initial business was not good. But afterwards, when word got out, the GU immortals gradually understood this business, and people started to flood towards her endlessly. After every business transaction, Lady White Rabbit would take a cut of the profits. Very soon, her total wealth had reached the level of her accumulation in the last tens of years. Lady White Rabbit was shocked and joyful. The business was getting better. She felt that each new day would be brighter. But an unexpected mishap came both suddenly, and not suddenly. Not suddenly because Lady White Rabbit knew about the matter entirely. Rank 8 great expert, Wu Dushu, of Wu clan, passed away. Her illegitimate son from Eastern Sea, Wu Yihai, was returning to southern border, and was attacked by many forces. In the end, Wu Yihai survived the attacks and successfully returned to the clan, becoming a southern border GU immortal. But it was sudden because Lady White Rabbit did not expect that this matter, which involved the entire southern border GU immortal world, would implicate her. Wu Yihai, who was far apart, having a high status, had actually come over here and became the person in charge of the Super GU formation on Wu clan's side. The immortal opportunity business had to stop. Because this business could not be exposed. Originally, Wu clan's rank 7 GU immortal was the person manipulating it in the background. Now that he was gone, Wu Yihai came. Wuan and the rest were beneficiaries of this, but they had no ability to continue this business. Because they were not qualified to. They could not bypass Fang Yuan and continue the business either. Because this business only involved 7 clans, Ba clan, Tai clan, and Shang clan were not participants. They needed a strong background to support them. Stop it here? No, of course not. All of the GU immortals involved in the immortal opportunity business had experienced great gains and benefits. They still wanted to continue. Thus, roping Fang Yuan in was the most important matter. Wuan was tasked with this important mission. Wu Liao could not be relied on. This GU immortal seemed young, but he was very conservative and strict with rules. He had always objected intensely to Wu clan doing the immortal opportunity business. Wuan was very enthusiastic and attended to Fang Yuan meticulously, but he suddenly went into seclusion. This made Wuan and the GU immortals with him extremely anxious. The situation with the demonic path and lone cultivators was terrible now. Suddenly, they could not enter and interact with the dream realm. This made the GU immortals feel that something was wrong. Were these righteous path members trying to take their cultivation resources and not holding their side of the deal? Large numbers of GU immortals surrounded the mortal GU house on the mountain peak. They could not find the righteous path GU immortals. They could only surround Lady White Rabbit and shout loudly, sending threats as they demanded answers. At this moment, Lady White Rabbit realized that she was in extreme danger. If the immortal opportunity business could not continue, not only would she not have a bright future, she would be torn to shreds by these wolves. Her end would definitely be miserable. In this situation, Wuan came and spoke with a glib tongue, finally convincing Lady White Rabbit. Lady White Rabbit was forced by the situation. She had no choice but to dress up like this and meet Fang Yuan, using her beauty to seduce this GU immortal from Wu clan, so that he could come out and manage the immortal opportunity business. Raise your head. At this time, Lady White Rabbit heard Fang Yuan's order. Lady White Rabbit's body shook, her heart almost skipped a beat. She breathed in deeply. She raised her head, looking up at Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan looked down imposingly at this beautiful girl. She was sprawling on the ground, raising her head to look at him. Her eyes were large and round, her skin was white like a boiled egg, and her lips were pink and delicate, soft as flowers. It made people unable to resist the urge of exploring how they tasted, especially the exquisite pink tongue that was inside. What flavor would it have? Stand up. At this moment, Fang Yuan spoke. Lady White Rabbit was like a wooden puppet, obediently standing up. She had an exquisite and busty figure. Her chest could barely be contained, but her height was only at Fang Yuan's chest level. She was like a neighbor's cute daughter. The two were less than 5 meters apart. Lady White Rabbit's heart was pounding fiercely, her breathing was rough, she was almost gasping. Next, she remembered Wu An's instructions, she stepped forward and hugged Fang Yuan. She used her jade-like arms to wrap around Fang Yuan's waist, using a seductive tone as she said, "Moss Master, please forcefully ravage this servant." She stammered as she said that, she wanted to die from shame and embarrassment. Even though she had cultivated for many years, Lady White Rabbit was still very ignorant about male and female relationships. Her only guidelines were Wu An's suggestions. "White Rabbit, oh White Rabbit, how can you say such shameful words? You really said it." Her face was bright red, she was asking herself this on the inside, she found it hard to believe that this was actually her. Elsewhere, outside the place that Fang Yuan lived in, Wu An was pacing around uncertainly. He was anxious, he walked around as he rubbed his hands, they formed into fists at times. From time to time, he stopped walking, turning around to look at the tightly shut door, thinking about what could happen inside. If the Immortal opportunity business stopped, and Fang Yuan refused to take over, that would mean that he did not like this idea, he would expose it. This was very possible. Wu Yihai was very young and had just joined Wu clan, he needed to prove himself to the clan. His brother was Wu Yong, he definitely had no lack of cultivation resources. For the moment, benefits were less important to him than reputation. This way, Lady White Rabbit would be done for, even if she did not die, she would be wanted by the righteous path. She would turn from a lone immortal to a demonic path Gu Immortal. Even though Wu An would not die, because Wu clan had limited Gu Immortals, he would definitely need to give up the benefits that he had obtained. He would also be punished by the clan, he would be sent away and his bright future would be completely ruined due to this business. At this time, footsteps could be heard. Wu An turned and looked, only to see that this person was standing straight like a spear, his footsteps were like the wind as he emitted an imposing aura all over his body. Wu An had a bad feeling. "Wu Liao, why are you here?" Wu Liao snorted coldly at him, "Why else? Someone was shameless and wanted to seduce Lord Wu Yihai into committing a grave mistake. I am here to tell Lord everything that you have done. I want him to know your schemes and ill intentions." Wu An was so angry he was about to explode, he pointed at Wu Liao as he gritted his teeth, "Wu Liao, you dare to do so?" He had tried to bribe Wu Liao. But Wu Liao refused to accept it, he did not find it little, it was just his personality. Among Wu clan's Gu Immortals, who would not know about Wu Liao's personality? Chapter 1225, White Rabbit's Seduction 2 halves. Wu Liao ignored Wu An, he bowed towards the door deeply as he shouted, "Wu An has ill intentions, Wu Liao seeks an audience with Lord, I want to report him." Wu An's heart was frozen at this point. He was scared, he was fearful. He was afraid that at the next moment, this door would abruptly open and Lady White Rabbit would be thrown out with tears in her eyes. Then he, Wu An, would be done for. But no, the door remained shut, as if Fang Yuan heard nothing. But how could this be possible? This was not an ordinary location, it was the internal space of the Super Gu formation, a huge group of palaces had formed that could accommodate people. Fang Yuan controlled 2 crucial immortal Gu, he was fully aware of everything going on in Wu clan's territory inside the formation. Wu An and Wu Liao's actions were extremely clear to Fang Yuan. How could he not hear what Wu Liao had shouted earlier? Impossible. Seeing that Fang Yuan was ignoring him, Wu Liao, who was extremely confident, was stunned. He knew that Wu An had been trying all kinds of ways to meet Fang Yuan, Wu Liao knew the purpose of his request. Wu Liao did not obstruct him, because he knew that humans were greedy and selfish, many people were different from him, for example, the previous rank 7 Gu Immortal from Wu clan. But afterwards, Fang Yuan did not meet Wu An once. Realizing this, Wu Liao was extremely happy. He thought of it in his own perspective, since Fang Yuan rejected Wu An, he was definitely unhappy with the Immortal opportunity business. Indeed, how can someone of Lord Wu Yihai's status be after such small gains? He has just entered the clan, he must be concerned about his reputation, and how he would develop as a Wu clan higher up in the future. Wu Liao guessed. Having such thoughts, he came to meet Fang Yuan, hopeful that Fang Yuan would receive him. But now, the hall's door was shut, like a wall or a tall mountain that was blocking Wu Liao's heart. Wu An laughed heartily, he wiped the sweat off his forehead, his mind returned to a calm state. Wu Liao's request to meet was the best probe. Wu An instantly thought that he had understood Fang Yuan's intention. Wu Liao did not believe it, he shouted again, but the doors remained shut, there was no response. Wu An laughed even louder now, feeling very confident. He spoke, Wu Liao, stop screaming. Lord has important matters to attend to, is it nice to disturb him like this? Wu Liao's expression was dark and ugly. Wu Wen sneered, shaking his head. Wu Liao looked down on Wu Wen. While Wu Wen felt that Wu Liao was too obstinate, he was not reasonable in how to deal with people and relationships. Now it seems, even though I took a risk, it paid off well. It is understandable, after all, Lady White Rabbit has a great appearance. When I first saw her in that attire, my heart almost jumped out of my mouth. I wanted so badly to cuddle her and rub all over her body. Seeing a beauty like Lady White Rabbit, as long as one is a man, they would be tempted. Lord Wu Yihai is a young and vigorous guy, he has just gotten some authority, and a beauty comes to him immediately, it can satisfy his ego. Furthermore, he was an Eastern Sea lone cultivator, while Lady White Rabbit is also a Southern Border lone cultivator. Between lone cultivators, they can understand each other and feel for each other. And the rarer thing is that Lady White Rabbit is a real virgin. When a man and woman meet, they would be like the fusion of fire and ice. He. While he was thinking that, at the next moment, something happened that caught Wu Wen off guard. Only to see that the doors opened, Lady White Rabbit stood at the door, appearing before the two Wu clan GU immortals. What happened? She came out already. Why has it been so little time? Wu Wen was extremely surprised. Lord must have heard my words and sent this female immortal out. Wu Liao was overjoyed, but when he saw Lady White Rabbit, his gaze froze. Even though he felt a little disgusted earlier, seeing Lady White Rabbit's divine beauty made his heart shook, he could not help but admit that Lady White Rabbit was beautiful. Such a short time has passed, did she not succeed? Wu An's heart sank to rock bottom, he was in a daze, his throat went dry. But soon, he saw that Lady White Rabbit had changed her clothes, it was no longer the white fur coat from before. Also, what attracted Wu An's attention more was that Lady White Rabbit was wearing a pair of jade earrings, they were ball-shaped and extremely thick. This was Southern Border's custom. When a woman marries and loses her virginity, she would wear such earrings, to show that she had successfully become one with her man. Wu Wen was overjoyed, he was extremely happy. Wu Liao's expression was pale, his eyes were sharp, he had already seen Lady White Rabbit's jade ball earrings. Did you succeed? Wu Wen came forward and asked carefully. Lady White Rabbit had an odd expression, but she nodded and did not speak. Wu Wen let out a breath of turbid air, he shut his eyes as pressure left him, he could not adapt to this feeling and nearly fell down. But, why was it so fast? Wu Wen had a thought. This shouldn't be, don't tell me that Lord Wu Yihai is a two-pump chump in that aspect. Such a situation is not rare in Southern Border, there are many guys who had cultivate until this happened to them. If that is the case, I can offer many useful GU worms to Lord in the future. But Lord Wu Yihai is already a rank 7 GU immortal, with so many Dao marks in him, these GU worms might not be effective. These jade pearls were given to me by Lord Wu Yihai. He has instructed me to tell you, from now on, he will mainly focus on cultivating, you can carry on with your duties, do not disturb his cultivation. Lady White Rabbit said. After she said that, Wu Wen looked at Wu Liao smugly with the expression of a victor. Wu Liao's body shook, he took a step back, looking at Wu Wen angrily as he turned and left. Lord Wu Wen, let's leave too. Lady White Rabbit said. Don't call me Lord, how can I, Wu Wen, be any lord? Just call me by my name. Wu Wen showed a sincere expression, as well as a courteous smile. Right now, Lady White Rabbit's status had changed. Not only did Wu Yihai take Lady White Rabbit's virginity, he had given her jade pearl earrings, he acknowledged her status as his concubine. Lady White Rabbit felt Wu An's change in attitude, she had a complex feeling inside her. She spoke. Actually, Wu Wen, Lord Wu Yihai has some words especially for you. Lady, please tell me. Wu Wen quickly turned solemn. Lady White Rabbit said some shocking things. Actually Lord Wu Yihai did not copulate with me. What? Wu An's expression turned into shock. The earlier scene appeared in Lady White Rabbit's mind again. When she went ahead to hug him with an extremely flustered feeling, a pair of strong hands grabbed her shoulders. Next, strong force was emitted in these warm hands, without allowing for any resistance, Lady White Rabbit was pushed away from Fang Yuan's body. Lady White Rabbit's expression turned pale, instantly, she felt that she failed. But at the next moment, she heard Fang Yuan's voice. When I was in Eastern Sea, I was a lone cultivator. I know the pain of a lone cultivator clearly. Some things are sweet, but you will have to pay a price if you swallow them. I am sure that now, you understand why. However, I do not want to take advantage of someone in dire straits. Saying this, Lady White Rabbit saw that a hand had stretched out towards her chest. It was holding a GU worm. This is a clothing GU, wearing it before talking to me. Fang Yuan's voice could be heard again. Lady White Rabbit obeyed him. The clothing GU turned into clothes that covered her body. When she raised her head again, she saw Fang Yuan smiling lightly at her. Even though I joined Wu clan, I am still a lone cultivator at heart, it will never change. You can consider this GU worm a gift from a fellow lone cultivator, I suppose. Lady White Rabbit's heart jumped. She felt an indescribable sensation. She was extremely touched in both body and soul. At once, she started sobbing. Tears formed in her eyes as her vision turned blurry. But in her blurry vision, Lady White Rabbit could feel that Fang Yuan's smile was so warm and gentle. It was like the rays of the morning sun, shining into her heart, providing warmth and protection to her. However, if you leave like this, you might not be able to answer for the consequences. I am clear about you and Wu An's intentions in coming here. Thus, bring this with you. Fang Yuan said, taking out a pair of earrings. With his abilities, creating such mortal objects would only take a thought. Lady White Rabbit received this pair of jade earrings with tears in her eyes. From today onwards, you are my attendant and mistress. Fang Yuan smiled and said. Lady White Rabbit acknowledged his words, slightly nodding. Go ahead with the immortal opportunity business. But I will not take over. If anything happens, I can help out secretly, but I will not step up officially. This is a matter that violates the interests of the other Righteous Path clans. After all, the entire Super GU formation was created with everyone's effort. I have just arrived in southern border, I have yet to establish myself, I do not need these meager gains. You are so intelligent, you understand what I mean, right? Yes, I understand, Lady White Rabbit quickly answered with a shaky voice. Go back, and convey my message to Wu An and the people around him. My portion of the profits will go to you. Fang Yuan sent her off. Lady White Rabbit mustered up her courage, wanting to take another look at Fang Yuan. But she did not manage to do so. She lowered her head as she walked out. The moment her back faced Fang Yuan, tears fell down her cheeks. The situation was much better than she had thought. The name of Wu Yihai was engraved into the deepest part of her soul. I understand now, I understand now. After hearing Lady White Rabbit's recollection, Wu An's forehead was full of sweat, his smugness was completely gone by now. He subconsciously looked towards Fang Yuan's residence, wariness and even more so, admiration and respect was hidden in his gaze. Chapter 1226, Rules of the Righteous Path. On his bed, Fang Yuan slowly opened his eyes. He let out a breath of air, realizing that he was still in his bed, the surrounding arrangements were all intact. This was the defensive GU formation that Southern Border's Righteous Path forces had created together, it was very safe. But Fang Yuan was vigilant to the core, he always considered the many possible outcomes before he did anything. Ever since rebirth, he had been cultivating endlessly, he exerted all of his effort without wasting a moment of his time on useless aspects. This sleep was the same. Fang Yuan entered his own dream realm, getting materials from his dream realm, he obtained the GU materials for many Dream Path Mortal GU. If I refine them, I can get 5 to 6 Dream Path Mortal GU. Fang Yuan assessed. His improvement in Dream Path was evident. In the past, after one dream, he would only obtain a few GU materials, to refine 1 or 2 Dream Path Mortal GU. But now was different, his gains had risen sharply, his efficiency in getting Dream Path Mortal GU also rose by many times. Of course, there was an important element, his soul. When exploring dream realms, the soul would weaken. Thus, the stronger the soul, the longer one could explore the dream realm, and the greater the backlash that they could endure from the dream realm. What was worth mentioning was, no matter how strong the soul was, it was just a basic condition for exploration. A strong soul could not allow one to freely move in the dream realm. There was a somewhat unfitting analogy for souls and dreams. The dream realm was like a desert, when souls explore it, they are like lost travelers inside the desert. The stronger the soul, the stronger the traveler's constitution, they could endure hunger and stay inside the desert for a longer time. But that did not mean that he could walk out of the desert. He did not know what direction it was, he could not create food and water inside the desert, he could not shrink the desert or leave it freely. But clear directions, creation of water and food, and modifying the desert, all of these could only be achieved by Dream Path at this period of time. Why, this period of time? Because when all the paths reach a certain attainment level, they can mimic other paths and attain their effects. In the future, Fire Path, Earth Path, and others can also create their own immortal killer moves that mimic Dream Path effects. However, there was a huge condition. That was, Dream Path had to be developed further as a path, and the GU Immortal trying to mimic its effect needed to be familiar with Dream Path and have high Dream Path attainment. Right now, Dream Path had just started being researched, all the forces and GU Immortals were suffering from exploring it, they did not have many useful gains. Even though there were quite a few Dream Path GU worms and even wild Dream Path Immortal GU, Dream Path as a path itself was still very far from actually being created. It was not even properly created yet, not to mention completed. Creating a whole new path was not so easy. There were many water path GU worms. During the immemorial antiquity era, remote antiquity era, and olden antiquity era, there were countless wild water path GU worms. There were even people who created new water path GU worms. But only until the medieval antiquity era did Spirit Affinity House's founder, Shui Ni, finalize the path after considering all aspects, formally creating water path. Thus, GU Immortals in the 5 regions could do nothing about Dream Path. They knew that it was extremely valuable, but they had no way to gain from it. Many GU Immortals died in dream realms. This situation was happening everywhere, and some time ago, Southern Borders GU Immortals had suffered massive casualties from this. Precisely so, Southern Borders Righteous Path GU Immortals noticed the fact and had to slow down their exploration of the dream realm, moving forward with steady steps, carefully progressing slowly. Many GU Immortals were still very wary of the dream realm. They started to have different ideas, thus, the Immortal Opportunity business was born as a result. If the Righteous Path GU Immortals had ways to explore the dream realm, how could they give up this immense profit to the demonic and lone immortals? Thinking of the Immortal Opportunity business, Fang Yuan sat up on his bed. The Immortal Opportunity business had to exist, but at the same time, he could not be involved in it excessively. The Immortal Opportunity business had many uses. On one hand, it could give GU Immortals immense benefits. On the other hand, it could greatly reduce the conflict of the Righteous Path, Demonic Path, and Lone Cultivators. If the Righteous Path GU Immortals defended the Super Dream Realm forcefully, what would these Demonic Path and Lone Immortals in Southern Border think? The Righteous Path definitely obtained a lot of benefits, but they are keeping it for themselves. If time passes, the Righteous Path will get stronger, while we get weaker. How can we live? These are the cultivation resources of Great Dream Immortal Venerable. Who does not want to become Great Dream Immortal Venerable? Why is the Righteous Path allowed to hog it for themselves, without any for us? This would be their mentality. It was extremely dangerous. Southern Borders Righteous Path forces knew that if these people were forced, the demonic and lone immortals would join up and result in another battle of Yitian Mountain, or result in the blood battle martial competition of Northern Plains. With this Immortal Opportunity business, the lone and demonic immortals would realize, oh, the dream realm is so dangerous, there is nothing to gain from it. At this moment, the Righteous Path can do nothing to it, otherwise, why would there be this business? Are they letting us experience the dream realm on purpose? Creating this dream realm business was the idea of the rank 7 GU Immortal from Wu Clan. He was very astute. Unfortunately, Fang Yuan was stronger and used his brother's influence to chase this rank 7 GU Immortal away. Fang Yuan needed stability. The more stable the better. He needed a stable environment to explore the dream realms here. Thus, preventing the attacks of both lone and demonic path immortals here meant that it was necessary to continue the Immortal Opportunity business. But Fang Yuan could not participate. Because not all the Righteous Path clans were participating. This was a crucial point. Put simply, the loot was not distributed evenly. Wu Clan and 6 other Righteous Path clans were getting the benefits, while the other half of the clans were not participating. This was very reasonable. GU Immortals were moved by benefits. The fewer people who joined, the more they would gain, right? Thus, the result was, once the Immortal Opportunity business was exposed, all of the GU Immortals involved would not be able to get away. They would definitely be punished severely, because this was the rule of the Righteous Path. Fang Yuan could not step into this trap. Wuan and the rest wanted to rope him in, but Fang Yuan knew that once this was exposed, even if he was the owner of 2 Immortal GU and Hiran was the brother of Wu Yong, it was impossible for him to stay here. Fang Yuan was not going to take the risk. He went through all kinds of methods to infiltrate here. What was it for? It was for the dream realm. Especially when Wu Yong was not someone who favored his brother, Wu Yihai. His attitude would depend on the circumstances. But as long as Fang Yuan did not commit a mistake, and was the owner of the Immortal GU here, Wu Yong would be less likely to send him elsewhere. Fang Yuan could see all these details clearly. Thanks to the 500 years of his previous life. Even though his cultivation level was not high, he had been in the righteous path, demonic path, and even was a lone cultivator, he had incredibly rich life experiences. This allowed him to be in the righteous path while not being restrained by Wu Yihai's lone cultivator upbringing. He was clear about the political situation here, he knew what to do as a righteous path GU Immortal, and how to play this game of life. Thus, he recruited Lady White Rabbit. At the crucial moment, he could use her as scapegoat, saying that he did not know the matter. The Immortal opportunity business, profits that were for him were all given to Lady White Rabbit as well. He could not take the profits. Unlike demonic path or lone cultivators who would crazy after seeing some resources, the righteous path could not do this. Some benefits could be gained, but certain benefits were untouchable. But what if he rejected her? What if he gave Lady White Rabbit and Wu in the cold shoulder? That was worse. If Fang Yuan did that, even though there would not be a crisis after getting exposed, he would make enemies with 6 clans of GU Immortals. These people were beneficiaries. If Fang Yuan did not lead them, they would not dare to undergo this business. These people would definitely have core feelings towards him. Fang Yuan would have just arrived at the Super GU formation, and he would have already offended all of the political allies of Wu clan. And all those who did not participate in the Immortal opportunity business, like Ba clan, Tai clan, or Shang clan, would be greedily eyeing up Fang Yuan. If he did that, he would be crippling his own network. It was an extremely stupid idea. The arrangement now was good. The Immortal opportunity business continued, his political allies were happy, Ba clan and the rest were watching but could not do anything to Fang Yuan, who had no exploitable weaknesses. In the future, if this matter was exposed, Fang Yuan would push Lady White Rabbit into the spotlight, sacrificing her and saying that he was doting on her, but to think that she would do something like this behind his back. He was completely kept in the dark and ignorant. All in all, Fang Yuan had leeway to retreat or advance. As for those profits, Fang Yuan could only give up on them. He did not lack resources now. The Sovereign Immortal Aperture's cultivation resources would put most rank 7 GU Immortals to shame. Next, I can officially start exploring Dream Realms. Fang Yuan prepared to move. At the same time, in Northern Plains, the Blood Battle Martial competition was reaching its end. Heavenly Lord Bai Zhu and Yao Huang did not appear from start to finish, but their influence was heavily affecting the competition. Chu Du had an ugly expression. The situation was not in his favor. Hao Zhen had lost. He was holding his left shoulder with his right arm. His injuries were severe. His left arm was completely chopped off. The injury area was covered in Dao marks. It was hard to heal. Northern Plains' righteous path truly has a deep foundation. Chu Du sighed. He was in an extremely awkward position of having nobody to send out. Hao Zhen had an angry expression. He spoke with unwillingness to give up. Lord Chu Du, I have a friend who is stronger than me, but they are a secluded cultivator and have little fame. Chu Du was joyful and suspicious. Oh, why did you not recommend them earlier? Hao Zhen had a difficult expression. He transmitted carefully. There is one bad point, they cultivate blood path. Chu Du's expression turned solemn. He rejected it without hesitation. Absolutely not. Any blood path GU Immortal is a demonic path GU Immortal. This blood battle martial competition is a competition between righteous path forces. How can this blood path demonic immortal take part? Once they were involved, the other party could slander Chu Du's side for being demonic path members. Chu Du's hard work would completely go down the drain. This was the rule of the righteous path. Chapter 1227, Dragonman. Our Combat Immortal sect is one of the 10 great ancient sects. Lad, since you were recommended by my senior brother, you must know about the selection rules of Combat Immortal sect. It will depend on your combat results. In Fang Yuan's vision, a GU master was looking down imposingly at him, saying, if you want to officially become a disciple of Combat Immortal sect, you have to put up a good fight and be one of the 10 people left out of 100 people to be qualified to join the sect. Combat Immortal sect, why is it this kind of dream? Spectral Soul Demon Venerable didn't seem to have joined Combat Immortal sect during his life. It seems that he absorbed many souls in the door of life and death and obtained lots of cultivation experiences. This is why it formed like this. Fang Yuan speculated inwardly. At this time, the GU master took out 3 GU worms. This first GU worm looked like a caterpillar. It was light blue and the size of an adult's thumb. The head had a small horn on it. The second GU worm was a butterfly with red patterns, emitting a warm aura. The third GU worm was a toad. It seemed like a gray rock. Inside the dream realm, the GU master spoke. These 3 GU worms are water arrow GU, Fire Cloak GU, and Spirit Saliva GU. You are a rank 1 GU master, choose one. I can only choose one. Fang Yuan asked. Everyone can only choose one. The GU master in charge said expressionlessly. Fang Yuan nodded. He assessed carefully. Water Arrow GU is for attacking, but it is not good among offensive GU. Fire Cloak GU is a defensive GU, it grants me a cloak of fire that can burn enemies mildly, and Spirit Saliva GU can be used to heal GU masters. If I can choose all of them, so be it. But if I can only choose one, it means this task needs cooperation. The earlier GU master said that there are 100 people but 10 spots. To explore this dream realm, I probably need to go ahead and get one of the 10 spots. I choose Fire Cloak GU. Fang Yuan thought, answering soon after. He needed to race for time. His dream realm exploration time was very precious. The soul would continuously be expended when exploring dream realms. Once it weakens to a certain level, Fang Yuan's cognitive abilities would fall drastically. He would be unable to differentiate between reality and the dream, he would not know that he was dreaming. Eventually, his soul would be trapped in the dream. Until he died, Fang Yuan would only have his body left in this world, like those pitiful GU immortals of southern border earlier. Exploring dream realms was dangerous. Especially when Fang Yuan was exploring it alone, without anyone around to take care of him. If any problems occurred, he would be unable to save himself, that would be terrible. But who could Fang Yuan truly trust? To grow his attainment level, Fang Yuan had to pay a price and take some risks. Of course, I have my trump card, I am not recklessly charging around like other GU immortals, needing to test their luck. Fang Yuan thought of this and immediately used an immortal killer move, Unravel Dream. Large numbers of Dream Path Mortal GU were expended, a mystical power was displayed before Fang Yuan. A GU master suddenly appeared. The GU master from earlier was shocked, he asked the new GU master, "Senior brother, why are you here?" The senior brother said, "I came to take a look, junior brother, give the Spirit Saliva GU to this child." But senior brother, this is cheating, if it is discovered, the junior brother was troubled. The senior brother laughed. Don't worry, Spirit Saliva GU cannot be detected on the outside if it is used secretly. This child also chose Fire Cloak GU, when he is concealed by it, who can see that he is healing himself? The junior brother nodded. Since senior brother is saying that, I have nothing else to say. Take it. Saying so, he tossed 2 GU worms at Fang Yuan, Fire Cloak GU and Spirit Saliva GU. Fang Yuan had just received them when the surrounding dream realm faded, becoming the second scene. Unravel Dream's effect would change to fit the dream realm, creating effects that would benefit the user. Thus, Unravel Dream's actual effect would vary from dream realm to dream realm. But this time, after using Unravel Dream, I only obtained 1 extra mortal GU in the dream. Unravel Dream is an immortal killer move, this effect was rather small. Fang Yuan thought about it, when he was exploring star constellation Immortal Venerable's dream realm, Unravel Dream had immediate results, like untying the wind not grass instantly, it was direct progress of the dream realm. Unlike here, after using it, he only gained 1 more mortal GU. After all, Fang Yuan's cultivation level was rank 2 in this dream realm, he had limited primeval essence, he could not use GU worms many times. Even though he obtained a second GU, he had to use his primeval essence wisely, the actual help was not very big. Don't tell me that because this dream realm is too big, the rules of the dream realm are also stronger. Thus, external influences are less effective. In the 500 years of my previous life, a batch of GU immortals also agreed with this point. Regardless of Fang Yuan's thoughts, the second scene had started. Fang Yuan found that he was in dusty fog, the road in front of him seemed to be at level ground. This is the internal space of a GU formation, it can accommodate 100 people to fight, the GU masters controlling the GU formation can also observe our situation, Fang Yuan analyzed as a young man in the fog approached him. Fang Yuan thought quickly, he called out, "Don't attack, friend, so many people are participating, we can ally first." "Ally? You offended young Master Long, you want others to ally with you?" The young man snickered as he shot out a water arrow. Fang Yuan's figure shifted, he nimbly dodged it, before pouncing. Seeing that Fang Yuan was getting close, the young man panicked, he used a second water arrow and tried to force Fang Yuan away. But Fang Yuan was experienced, seeing the young man raise his hand, he knew where the arrow was heading. Fang Yuan moved his feet and charged even quicker as the second water arrow missed him narrowly. The youngster quickly moved back, retreating while firing arrows. Fang Yuan observed patiently. Even though he had a chance to get close, Fang Yuan purposely dodged instead. After a while, the young man was out of steam. Fang Yuan smiled, slowly walking forward. Right now, I can disqualify you easily, how about it? Join me and we can work together to deal with the others, I am very sincere. HMPH. The young man snorted. Just the two of us against 98 people, you are dreaming. You offended young Master Long, you wanted to snatch his woman, and you still want to get into combat Immortal sect, you are simply dreaming. I would rather give up here than offend young Master Long foolishly. Fang Yuan's heart sank. In this case, wouldn't he have to deal with the other teenagers in this test alone? This young Master Long was truly a problem. No wonder earlier, Southern Border's Righteous Path GU Immortals suffered heavy losses. This dream realm is too difficult. It is harder than even Star Constellation Immortal Venerable's dream realm. Fang Yuan retreated, realizing that he was surrounded by 30 youngsters who had ganged up together, encircling him all around. Bai Shang Grotto Heaven. I succeeded, Bai Ningbing said plainly. His gaze was still cold, he had a normal expression, but his appearance was quite tattered, he was charred black, like lamb on a barbecue rack, having been roasted for a long time. When he spoke, smoke was coming out of his throat. Bai Shang Heavenly Spirit looked at him, nodding. You used your own body to contain the fire, subduing the raging wave rising dragon fire. Do you know how dangerous this is? There is only a small chance of success. If you fail, your entire body will turn into ash. Regardless, I succeeded. Bai Ningbing was still holding on desperately. When he spoke, each word was said with much difficulty, he was relying solely on his willpower. Bai Shang Heavenly Spirit chuckled. Since you succeeded, you are now the new owner of this grotto heaven. Greetings to young master. Bai Ningbing nodded. He did not say anything, he felt like he would faint if he uttered another word. But if he fainted, according to Ying Wuxia's words, he would be unable to control the raging wave rising dragon fire in his body, he would be burned to a crisp instantly. At this time, Bai Shang Heavenly Spirit said, Young master, you are in a dangerous situation now, if you are careless, you will die completely, not even your soul will survive. If you were the blazing glory lightning brilliance physique, it would be better, but you had to be the northern dark ice soul physique. I have a cultivation method that suits your current state. This GU refinement method uses the GU Immortal themselves as GU material, together with the raging wave rising dragon fire, you will be refined together, young master will leave the human race and become one of the variant humans, a dragon man. Dragon man. Bai Ningbing stared with wide eyes, thinking, less than the legends of Ren Zhu greater than has no mention of any dragon man. There is such a variant human race. Bai Ningbing did not speak, but Bai Shang Heavenly Spirit knew his doubts. The Heavenly Spirit continued. It is indeed not inside less than the legends of Ren Zhu greater than, because the variant human dragon man was created by a human great expert, Duke Long, the original intention was to prolong lifespan. Duke Long is a heavenly court GU immortal, he has extremely high battle strength, like Sword Immortal Bo Qing in the past. He brought about the method of humans alike dragons 1, he fused refinement path and transformation path, to create a brand new variant human race, the Dragon Man. Bai Ningbing's shock increased a bit more, he thought, who is this Duke Long? Even though I only became an immortal recently, knowledge is not my weakness, I know much more than ordinary GU immortals. Duke Long is someone on par with Bo Qing. How could he not be in historical records? Is there no such person recorded in GU Immortal history? Is Bai Shang Heavenly Spirit speaking rubbish? Chapter 1228. Duke Long. Bai Ningbing knew that a land spirit or heavenly spirit was formed by the GU Immortal's obsession fused with the Immortal Aperture's heavenly power, it was a mystical existence. Because of the obsession, land spirits and heavenly spirits had an ownership acknowledgement requirement, and they could not lie. But although land spirits and heavenly spirits could not lie, that did not mean they could not spout nonsense. If land spirits or heavenly spirits obtain wrong information, but they think it is real, when they say it, it is not a lie. Bai Shang Heavenly Spirit's words were quite unbelievable. Bo Qing was Bo Qing because he was a type of person rarely seen in human history. What was Bo Qing's title? The pseudo-immortal Venerable who split the 5 regions with his sword. It was fortunate for the people in the world that love changed him. He was publicly recognized by all GU immortals across different eras that he was at a level second to only rank 9 GU venerables. Such a person was extremely dazzling, like the moon in the night sky, even over the span of history with countless geniuses. If this Duke Long was a great expert at the level of Bo Qing, how could he not be in historical records? Bai Ningbing was full of doubts. But at this time, Bai Shang Heavenly Spirit did not answer his doubts. He asked, "Young master, your life is in great danger. We can only use the humans alike dragon's GU refinement method to turn yourself into a dragon man and resolve your crisis. However, this method is rather dangerous." Bai Shang Heavenly Spirit said this as he frowned, sighing as he said, "You must know that GU refinement has very strict requirements towards the materials. A proficient refinement path expert would consider all of the Tao marks that were inside each GU material. And the humans alike dragon's GU refinement method uses the GU immortal themselves as the immortal material. But immortal materials like these vary from person to person. Every GU immortal has different number of Tao marks of differing paths. Thus, this GU refinement method has a low chance of success. If young master had the blazing glory lightning brilliance physique, or if you cultivated transformation path or refinement path, there is a greater chance. But you are on the other extreme, being the northern dark ice soul physique. If you use this method, the chance of surviving is extremely minute. During the GU refinement process, all of your Tao marks will be affected. Young master, all of the ice and snow path Tao marks in your body might vanish completely." Bai Ningbing's eyes shined brightly instead. "My ice and snow path Tao marks will vanish. Does that mean the information path alliance agreement on me, and the transformation path Tao marks, will also vanish?" He was very stirred up. All along, what troubled him most were the transformation path Tao marks. Back then, in southern borders Qingmao Mountain, because of yin-yang rotation GU, he turned from a guy to a girl. Now, once he used the phantom aperture, he would turn into a GU immortal, his transformation path Tao marks would be suppressed and he would become a male again. If he did not use the phantom aperture and turned back to immortal, his transformation path Tao marks would turn him into a girl again. Of course, the Tao marks from Shadow Sect's Information Path Alliance agreement were Bai Ningbing's biggest restraint at the moment. Was Bai Ningbing someone who would submit to others? All along, he merely had no methods or ways to break free. Use this method. Bai Ningbing did not hesitate, he struggled intensely and uttered 3 words. Central Continent, Heavenly Court. A female immortal was holding an information path GU worm and inspecting it carefully. She had a graceful figure with hair that extended to her waist, and was adorned in a beautiful purple robe. Her eyes were like deep pools, with a sense of sorrow shrouding her face. It was the Wisdom Path Great Expert who replaced Heaven Overseeing Tower Lord, the temporary leader of Heavenly Court, Fairy Ziwei. She retracted her attention from the Information Path GU worm as her lips curled into a smile. Love GU actually acknowledged Zhao Lianyun. Interesting. Fairy Ziwei was not surprised. She knew many historical secrets. Love GU had never been reliable in history. In the past, it could acknowledge the Inkman Mo Yao, and now, was it really that strange that it acknowledged the otherworldly demon Zhao Lianyun? Spirit Affinity House's Supreme Elders cannot decide on this matter, so they are pushing the decision to me. They have gotten smarter. Fairy Ziwei sighed to herself. Spirit Affinity House was not having a good time recently. During the Battle of Yitian Mountain, Bo Qing, even though he was dead, had become an immortal zombie, playing a crucial role in that battle. Long ago, he had joined Spirit Affinity House's sword immortal Bo Qing. Bo Qing's sword lights rampaged over Central Continent, it caused great damage to Central Continent, the 10 great ancient sects, and even Heavenly Court. After the Battle of Yitian Mountain ended, Spirit Affinity House endured immense pressure because of it. Whether they should make Zhao Lianyun the current generation fairy of Spirit Affinity House, these Spirit Affinity House Supreme Elders could not decide. It was a hard decision regardless of whether they make her the fairy or not. Pushing this difficult problem to Fairy Ziwei, they could avoid the responsibility themselves. Fairy Ziwei did not feel angry about it, because she was from Spirit Affinity House in the past. Fairy Ziwei was once a GU immortal from Spirit Affinity House. Because of her great talent, after she became rank 8, she was accepted into Heavenly Court. Even though the 10 great ancient sects were lower-level sects of Heavenly Court, their relationship was not as simple as superiors and subordinates. Because many Heavenly Court GU immortals did not forget their roots, the sect that they came from, when descendants from these sects enter Heavenly Court, they would become natural political allies of these GU immortals. Thus, Fairy Ziwei sided with Spirit Affinity House, and was willing to settle this problem for them. In fact, she and Fairy Bai Qing had some bloodline relationship. And Fairy Bai Qing was Feng Jinhuang's mother, and Feng Jinhuang was vying with Zhao Lianyun for the position of fairy, neither would relent. If Spirit Affinity House's Supreme Elders acknowledged Zhao Lianyun, they would be denying Feng Jinhuang the position, thus, they gave this problem to Fairy Ziwei and let her decide. This problem was a small matter to Fairy Ziwei. She was about to use the information path GU worm to reply when she suddenly felt a tremor. This tremor was mild. Fairy Ziwei almost thought that she was imagining things. But soon, a tremor occurred again, at an even greater intensity than before. Fairy Ziwei stood up in shock. She had to be shocked. Because she was in Heavenly Court now, this was such an important place that was managed for countless years, the defense was extremely tight, how could tremors occur for no reason? The tremors continued. This situation attracted the attention of many GU immortals. Granny Sha stopped refining GU, she had an expression of shock. Wei Lingyong walked out of his hall and looked around. Fairy Ziwei could not sit anymore, she left the hall and heard some dragon roars vaguely in the tremors. The dragon roars were getting louder, Heavenly Court was shaking with even more intensity now. Under Fairy Ziwei's shocked gaze, a dragon-shaped pillar of light soared to the sky from deep within Heavenly Court. That place, is that deep within the Immortal Graveyard? Don't tell me, a senior has awakened. Fairy Ziwei frowned. At this time, Granny Sha and Wei Lingyong came to her. Such a scene inside the Immortal Graveyard, it must be a senior from Heavenly Court. But I wonder which one? Granny Sha deduced. Wei Lingyong said. The Immortal Graveyard is unfathomable and mysterious, even we do not know how many GU immortals are slumbering in it. But Heavenly Court has experienced such huge tremors, this person who woke up must be very extraordinary. Granny Sha nodded, she was also someone who had woken up from hibernation, but when she woke up, Heavenly Court was peaceful and quiet, without any commotion. It was a clear contrast to now. Fairy Ziwei breathed in deeply, we'll know if we go and see. The three immortals flew deep into the Immortal Graveyard, only to see a huge pit that had formed on the plain grassland. Inside the pit, there was a withered and weak old man. The old man saw the three GU immortals and quickly opened a slit of his eyes with much difficulty, saying weakly, water, water. Fairy Ziwei quickly went ahead and used her healing methods. Granny Sha and Wei Lingyong looked at each other, the commotion was huge, but to think that this person was so weak when they saw him. This was really surprising, my healing methods are not working. At this time, Fairy Ziwei frowned as she spoke. Wei Lingyong quickly went ahead and used all his methods, but nothing was working on the old man. Wei Lingyong said solemnly, not good, this senior's body is very strange, my methods are not working. Senior's life force is dwindling, at this rate, he will die in less than a few minutes. Fairy Ziwei's eyes shined, she analyzed. Earlier, Senior said water, it must be a method to save him. Ordinary water would not work, then what water does he need? Granny Sha was a refinement path expert, she used her healing methods as she said. There are 3 fires in this world, and also 3 waters. They are all rank 9 immortal materials, Heavenly Court has stock of all of them, bring them here. But the 3 types of water had no effect. The old man could barely breathe, he was dying. The 3 immortals were anxious, what should they do? Fairy Ziwei suddenly pointed at the old man's head. Senior's forehead had 2 protrusions, what are these rock-like things? Granny Sha was reminded as inspiration flashed in her mind, I know what water it is. She took out the true dragon heavenly water, pouring this rank 8 immortal material into the old man's mouth. The old man obtained this water and his life force surged, his body started inflating, soon, his throat started moving, he had the strength to drink this water himself. The result was immediate, the 3 immortals were overjoyed. After the old man drank 500 grams of true dragon heavenly water, he pushed Granny Sha's hands away. Granny Sha understood and stopped feeding him. The old man stood up shakily. He was different from before. His dry skin had been puffed up, his entire facial shape had changed, he no longer looked like a skeleton. He opened his aged eyes as he looked at the 3 immortals, sighing, this is the last time I can awaken, true dragon heavenly water is not effective now, 500 grams is enough, any more is a waste. I sensed that someone was using the humans-alike dragon's GU refinement method, I can smell traces of fate, I had no choice but to wake up. You are Duke Long. Fairy Ziwei stared with wide-opened eyes, tongue-tied. That would be me. Chapter 1229. Love GU 1/2. Zhao Lianyun was brought into a small secret room in her daze. Where is this? She opened her eyes, looking around. This secret room was extremely quiet, a bone-chilling silence was embedded into every brick in this room, and every inch of the wall. The secret room was not bright, it was dim like only a candle was lit, sending out faint traces of light, Zhao Lianyun could barely see anything. Come here. From the traces of light, an aged voice spoke. Zhao Lianyun followed the direction of the voice. As she got closer, she saw an elderly person who was as aged as that voice. She was the first Supreme Elder of Spirit Affinity House. First Supreme Elder looked at Zhao Lianyun with a deep glance, focusing her attention on Love Ji, which was on Zhao Lianyun's shoulder. Her gaze moved slightly, she quickly calmed down. Kneel down, First Supreme Elder said. Zhao Lianyun felt that even though this old woman did not feel special, she had an immense authority, her calm words carried force that made people feel obliged to obey her. Thus, Zhao Lianyun lowered her head as she saw a cushion on the ground. She knelt down on the cushion, her upper body was straight as she looked at the old woman. The old woman said, "Look ahead." Zhao Lianyun looked ahead, she saw that the secret room was getting bright. Zhao Lianyun gasped as she stared with wide-opened eyes. Because she saw that on the wall in front, there were countless jade-like small tablets. These are Life Tablet GU, each of the names there is a certain fairy of Spirit Affinity House in the past. From the first generation until now, First Supreme Elder said slowly. Zhao Lianyun's breathing intensified, her gaze swept past this wall, there were countless tablets, she was dazzled. At the top left-hand corner, there was a tablet, with the first-generation fairy's name written, Shui Ni. Second-generation fairy, Xuan Yu. Third-generation fairy, Wei Xin. She also saw Mo Yao, Lian Shang, and other familiar names. Zhao Lianyun looked at these names, her breathing became rough. She was like a child, staring at the night sky that was flickering with countless stars. She knew that these people were all past stars in the GU Immortal world. Every generation of Spirit Affinity House's fairies was a GU Immortal that was famous in Central Continent. They were extraordinary and unrivaled. They were like pearls that were linked together, from the past to the present, they weaved Spirit Affinity House's future, leaving behind dazzling brilliance and glory throughout history. Zhao Lianyun was dazed. At this moment, First Supreme Elder spoke. From now onwards, you are the current generation fairy of Spirit Affinity House. Your Life Tablet GU is already at the lowest position. At this moment, Zhao Lianyun's heart froze. She stared with wide-opened eyes, looking at the old lady. She was overjoyed but had endless doubts. How can this be? Am I dreaming? According to Spirit Affinity House's rules, I am not qualified yet. She said this until she thought of something. She turned her gaze away as she looked at Love GU on her shoulder. Is it because of this GU? First Supreme Elder nodded slightly. This is Love GU, you have already received Love Gu's acknowledgement. After Zhao Lianyun fainted, when she woke up, she was already inside this secret room. She was unsure of what Love GU looked like, but she knew that Love GU was the signature GU of Spirit Affinity House. Is this Love GU? Zhao Lianyun's body shook, her voice was also off-pitch. First Supreme Elder nodded again. Zhao Lianyun breathed intensely, intense joy was in her heart, it slowly oozed out as she felt like fortune had hit her in her head. But this bliss was too sudden, it was too great, she did not feel any joy, she felt some fear and uneasiness. She was afraid that everything was fake, she was worried that this was just a dream after she fainted. Thus, she stared with wide-opened eyes, asking First Supreme Elder nervously, why? This why contained too many questions. Why did Love GU choose her? Why did she become Spirit Affinity House's fairy? Why did all this happen? First Supreme Elder did not answer her, she sighed deeply as she said slowly, you must have read less than the legends of Ren Zhu greater than, among which, one chapter said this. Ren Zhu obtained love, courage, and betrayal, he was no longer unable to progress due to fear. He continued to move forward. On this day, he walked on his road, hearing a voice behind, oh Ren Zhu, I finally found you. Slow down, wait for me. Ren Zhu stopped moving, turning around. He saw a snowman running up to him. What is it, snowman? Ren Zhu asked curiously. The snowman said, oh Ren Zhu, I finally found you. I am the strongest snowman in my tribe. Snowmen are said to be afraid of fire, I want to prove that it is untrue. I traveled the world, I have already conquered the bright light glorious ring fire in the sky, the azure divine stone furnace fire in the earth, and the raging wave rising dragon fire in the sea. But I heard that there is a fourth type of fire in this world, called the fire of love. Once it burns, it can turn all life forms in this world into cinders. I do not believe it, I heard that you have just obtained Love GU, thus I wanted to try it. Fire of love, Ren Zhu was surprised, he was hearing it for the first time. Thus, he called out Love GU, asking, oh GU, can you emit the fire of love? Love GU replied, I can, and I cannot. Ren Zhu and the snowman were curious, they asked, what do you mean by can and cannot? Love GU explained, I can because I am necessary in order to emit the fire of love. But I cannot, because I alone am not sufficient, 2 hearts are needed. 2 hearts. The snowman was worried. She took out her heart from her chest. This heart was huge and tough, it was emitting strong pressure. The snowman said, "This is my heart of domination, it is a pity that I only have 1 heart." Renzu said, "Don't worry, I have a heart too." Renzu originally had 1 heart, but he gave it to Hope Gu. He next obtained a heart of loneliness, Self Gu was residing within it. He also had a heart of discontent. Thus, right now, he took out the heart of discontent. The heart of discontent was dry and shriveled, it was small and weak, because this heart had little blood left. Renzu had once used almost all of his heart blood in ordinary abyss, to grow the grass and trees of achievement. Love Gu flew into the heart of discontent and flew out, it flew into the heart of domination and flew out again. It flew into the sky and said, "All right, you want the fire of love, let these 2 hearts clash." The snowman and Renzu took out their respective hearts, putting them together. Crackle, sparks were created. The sparks grew rapidly, turning into a blazing flame. Fire of love. The fire of love burned on Renzu's heart of discontent, it instantly turned this heart into ashes. Renzu was stunned. Love Gu said, "Love has a price, it makes people willing to sacrifice." The snowman laughed. "Oh Renzu, thankfully you have 2 hearts, otherwise, without a heart, you would die." The snowman turned to look at the heart of domination in her hand. The fire of love enveloped this heart, but this heart shone brighter and brighter. The snowman was nonchalant. "Oh what, this fire of love only has an impressive appearance, it neither has the heat of bright light glorious ring fire, or the heaviness of azure divine stone furnace fire, or the chaos of raging wave rising dragon fire." As she said, she placed the heart of domination into her chest. Next, her body started bursting out in flames, she started melting like snowflakes under the sun. She turned pale from shock, she quickly patted and attempted to put out the fire of love. But the fire of love could not be extinguished. Eventually, the snowman completely melted, only her heart was left, burning in raging flames. Renzu was extremely shocked, he felt that this snowman was very strong, to think that she would vanish like this. The fire of love is so scary. Renzu was shocked. Love Gu said, "The result of love varies from heart to heart. The heart of the snowman was domination, but you had the heart of discontent, and it was completely burned from the fire. Thus, this was the result. Actually, there are good results that can occur when the fire of love burns. The results of love varied, each experience of love was a risk and gamble." Renzu suddenly thought of something, becoming stirred up. "Oh Love Gu, you said that love can make people willing to sacrifice. This is wonderful, I will fall in love with the feathermen and make them willing to fly for me, so that they can save my daughter from ordinary abyss." Right at this moment, a voice could be heard, "Father, father." From the burning flames of the heart of domination, a boy jumped out. He was Blazing Glory Lightning Brilliance. Blazing Glory Lightning Brilliance jumped into Renzu's arms as he said, "Father, father, so I have a sister as well. I support you, let's go save sister." Renzu was extremely overjoyed, he rubbed Blazing Glory Lightning Brilliance's head as he said, "My son, you are so smart and sensible." Renzu brought Blazing Glory Lightning Brilliance and went on a journey again. Not long after, they returned to the gathering spot of the feathermen. Renzu took out his heart of loneliness, saying to the feathermen, "Do you all have hearts?" The feathermen answered, "We all have the heart of freedom." Renzu laughed. "Then let us fall in love, I have a heart too, as well as Love Gu." The feathermen shook their heads. The heart of freedom will be completely burned in the fire of love. The process of pursuing love was also the process of losing freedom. Renzu was persistent. The results of love vary from hearts to hearts. Don't just look at one heart, my heart of loneliness is part of the process too. But no matter how Renzu urged, the featherman would not agree. Chapter 12:30 Love Gu 2 halves. Renzu was helpless, he asked Love Gu, "Oh Gu, oh Gu, they don't want to love me, you have to help me, and ignite the fire of love in our hearts." Love Gu sighed, "This is beyond my abilities. I cannot force others to love, no matter what heart, it has to collide on its own free will." Renzu shook his head, "No, this is a good chance to save my daughter, I cannot give up. Self Gu, I will rely on you." Self Gu nodded, using its own strength. It had once eaten a mouthful of strength Gu, right now, Renzu had his own strength. Thus, these feathermen were all captured by Renzu, their hearts to dug out and used to collide with Renzu's heart. But no matter how they collided, there were no hearts that created the spark of love. Love Ji sighed. Oh Renzu, forcing others to love is impossible, you will only create hatred. As it said that, a Ji worm appeared before Renzu. Renzu took a look, it was hatred Ji indeed. Hatred Ji made all of the feathermen feel hatred. They shouted. Oh Renzu, you are too much, you are bullying us, we will make you pay the price. Thus, these feathermen flew up together, shining worms were flying out of their bodies, they were wild freedom Ji. The freedom Ji fused together into a gigantic freedom Ji. This freedom Ji easily took away Renzu's love Ji. Henceforth, love is free. This giant freedom Ji said. Renzu's self Ji quickly flew out, it wanted to snatch love Ji, but it could not overpower freedom Ji, it only managed to take a bite of love Ji. Self Ji said angrily, love also belongs to oneself. After Zhao Lianyun heard First Supreme Elder's words, she was still in a daze. Stories in less than the legends of Renzu greater than were widely spread. Zhao Lianyun had seen them many times in her childhood, but she always thought of them as fictitious tales. As a matter of fact, she did not expect that this strict granny would talk to her about less than the legends of Renzu greater than in such a heavy and serious atmosphere. Spirit Affinity House's First Supreme Elder saw Zhao Lianyun's expression and knew that she had never paid close attention to less than the legends of Renzu greater than. Thus, First Supreme Elder said, the love Ji on your shoulder is rank 9, but it has a major flaw. What flaw? Zhao Lianyun asked. It cannot be refined. First Supreme Elder said solemnly. What do you mean? Even Ji immortals cannot refine it? Zhao Lianyun asked. First Supreme Elder smiled. Not to mention Ji immortals, even rank 9 venerables cannot. In history, many venerables have tried. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable had attempted to refine this Ji for 3 years in a row without pause, but he still failed miserably. Zhao Lianyun heard this secret and stared with wide-opened eyes. So there are things in this world that immortal venerables or demon venerables cannot do. She exclaimed. Venerables only have the strongest battle strength, invincible in this world. But they are not omnipotent. In the past, Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable and Giant Sun Immortal Venerable had to ask Long Hair Ancestor for help in terms of Ji refinement. This is an obvious conclusion. First Supreme Elder spoke slowly. Thus, love Ji cannot be controlled, it is free and nobody can give it orders. First Supreme Elder concluded. But why did it? Zhao Lianyun did not know what to say, she looked at love Ji on her shoulder. In her vision, love Ji was so dazzling and bright. First Supreme Elder said, this is the acknowledgement of love Ji, this situation is rare, but it has happened quite a number of times before. The last time was Fairy Mo Yao. Why did it acknowledge me? Zhao Lianyun was curious. First Supreme Elder shook her head, I am not sure. But our sect has concluded 2 points. Firstly, a person has to believe in love to gain its acknowledgement, this is the foundation. Secondly, someone's love has to reach an intense level, the greater your love, the higher the chances of gaining love Gu's acknowledgement. Is that so? Zhao Lianyun blinked as she listened. She realized, it was because she loved Ma Hongyun so deeply, even willing to give up her own life, that love Ji came and acknowledged her. Why did this not happen for Feng Jinhuang? Because she had no lover. Love was not familial affection or friendship. First Supreme Elder continued. Precisely because love Ji cannot be controlled, to make use of it, one needs love Gu's acknowledgement. Thus, there is a rule in our sect since we were created. Anyone who gains love Gu's acknowledgement, be it female or male, would be our sect's current generation fairy. Zhao Lianyun blinked. There are male fairies too. First Supreme Elder smiled. Our sect has a large proportion of females, but we also have males. Why would we not have them? Look at that tablet in the center, named Sheng Yushan, at the bottom right corner, with Qian Yuan Liang, these are all people dedicated to love in our sect's history. Actually, love Ji has many special effects. For example, it has a different appearance as seen by different people. How does it appear to you now? Zhao Lianyun replied honestly, dazzling with multicolored rainbows. First Supreme Elder nodded. To my sight, it is gray and unattractive, like a rock by the roadside. How could this be? First Supreme Elder smiled lightly, deep wisdom hidden in her eyes. I stopped believing in love long ago, thus, love Ji looks like that to me. In the generations of fairies, love Ji has always looked different, some see clear water, some see peach blossoms, there were countless forms that were observed. And also, love Ji has varying effects. Please enlighten me, Zhao Lianyun said. First Supreme Elder continued. Normally speaking, a GU worm, be it mortal or immortal, has only one effect. Like water arrow GU, it can only shoot water arrows. But love GU is different, it can be said to have unlimited effects. It can shoot fire, heal, or provide defense for instance. Zhao Lianyun became overjoyed as she listened, so amazing. First Supreme Elder shook her head. Love GU is a rank 9 GU, it is naturally extraordinary. It has unlimited effects, but it cannot be controlled. If you want it to attack, it will bring you to fly away. If you want to defend, it will heal you. Often, when you want it to work, it does absolutely nothing. When you do not want it to activate, it will come out and unleash its might. Zhao Lianyun was a little disheartened, but she soon gathered her spirits. Even so, it is a rank 9 immortal GU, any of the effects used must be extraordinary. First Supreme Elder said, "You are right, but you forgot something. Strength cannot be gained from nothing, you have to pay a price. Every time love GU is used, it will take something away from you." Zhao Lianyun was nervous. What thing? The most common thing is immortal essence. But you are not a GU immortal, it might take away your beauty, your eyesight, or your lifespan. First Supreme Elder said grimly. Zhao Lianyun's expression was pale, she looked at the love GU on her shoulder again. But now, her gaze was very different from before. This immortal GU might end up accelerating my death. If that is the case, I need to make good use of my time. Zhao Lianyun made a resolute decision. She mustered her spirits, saying to First Supreme Elder, "Even if I have to pay a big price, I will save Ma Hongyun. Elder, if I become Spirit Affinity House's current generation fairy, can I use the sect's power to return to Northern Plains?" First Supreme Elder did not answer Zhao Lianyun immediately. She had a complex expression. A while ago, Heavenly Court's Duke Long awakened. When news got out, the 10 great ancient sects were stirred. Duke Long was on par with Bo Qing in terms of strength. With just his own power, he created a brand new race, the Dragon Man. In other words, he was the ancestor of Dragonmen. He had a legendary life, but his reputation was not high, buried deep in history. Even in the 10 great ancient sects, barely anyone knew of him. Duke Long had great seniority, he was unbelievably old. When he woke up, Fairy Ziwei immediately gave up her position as leader, handing it to Duke Long. The other Heavenly Court GU immortals were all in agreement. Duke Long used information path methods and understood the situation. He immediately ordered for Zhao Lianyun to be Spirit Affinity House's current generation fairy. Not just that, Duke Long even gave Zhao Lianyun a phantom aperture, turning her into a GU immortal. More absurdly, he even ordered the 10 great ancient sects to cooperate with Zhao Lianyun, to bring a team to Northern Plains and save Ma Hongyun after some time. The 10 great ancient sects were in tumult, but they all obeyed him without objection. Because of historical reasons, nobody dared to question Duke Long's arrangements regarding Love GU. Such news were not for Zhao Lianyun to know about. First Supreme Elder also did not want her to know. Zhao Lianyun was kneeling before her now, but she had fainted for a few days already. She would not know that the 10 great ancient sects were engaged in a contest regarding the huge storm surrounding her. Zhao Lianyun saw that First Supreme Elder did not answer her, she became very nervous. She was afraid that First Supreme Elder would say no. But First Supreme Elder soon said, "Zhao Lianyun, you are an otherworldly demon who obtained the thieving heaven true inheritance. Perhaps you might be one of the most unique fairies in Spirit Affinity House. And maybe because of your special traits. Don't worry, Heavenly Court has been alerted by this. The 10 great ancient sects will go ahead and form a team consisting of you as the core, to rescue your lover Ma Hongyun in Northern Plains." What? Zhao Lianyun stared with wide-opened eyes. Hearing this, she was extremely joyful and surprised. Chapter 1231, Waterpath Quasi-Grand Master. Southern Border, Super GU Formation. Ba Quanfeng looked in Wu Clan's direction, wondering discontentedly, what is going on? This Wu Yihai is so patient, he is cultivating in seclusion and not going outside. He found it hard to believe. Wu Clan's members usually acted overbearingly. Once in a while, they would find trouble with others. Wu Yihai was Wu Yong's half-brother, he had very high status in Wu Clan. But he actually chose to cultivate in seclusion and normally did not interact with GU immortals. Bada shook his head. He said solemnly, "Now it seems, this Wu Yihai is not simple at all. Or rather, he is even harder to deal with than the rank 7 Wu Clan GU immortal earlier." Ba Quanfeng laughed. "How can that be? He is merely a lone cultivator from Eastern Sea." Old Treeman Bada looked at Ba Quanfeng. If he is only an ordinary lone cultivator, how can he manage this immortal opportunity business so outstandingly? Even if we place pressure on the business, we cannot do anything to Wu Yihai. These last days, we have prepared many ways, but this person completely ignored us, facing our taunts, he chose to stay silent and endure it. Such a person is far more dangerous than other Wu clan GU immortals. Ba Quanfang's expression changed, he breathed in deeply. Lord Old Treeman, even you give him high praise, it seems this person is really outstanding. Why don't we go and ruin this immortal opportunity business, to force him to act? Bada shook his head. Impossible, he will definitely not do anything. If we expose this matter, the immortal opportunity business will certainly fall apart since it is not allowed in the first place. But we will not be able to harm Wu Yihai, and we will even offend the 6 other clans with them, all of their animosity will be drawn towards us. By then, Wu Yihai would benefit from it and unite them to form an even tighter political force. Ba Quanfeng stared with wide-opened eyes, bellowing, then what do we do? Wait for an opportunity, Old Treeman Bada said. The opportunity that we can create right now is small and insignificant. In that case, we wait for a better opportunity in the future. Ba Quanfeng gritted his teeth. Then wouldn't Wu clan be above us? How long would we need to wait? We might have to wait for a very long time. Old Treeman Bada's expression turned cold, he no longer spoke, only looking at Ba Quanfeng silently. Ba Quanfeng felt an immense pressure from his gaze. He took 3 steps back, lowering his head as sweat appeared on his forehead. Lord, You are too rash, little Feng. These last days, your mental state is not right. Bada said slowly. Yes, Lord, I was wrong. Ba Quanfeng obediently admitted his mistake in an earnest manner. Wu clan indeed lost a rank 8 GU immortal, but they are still a huge force. The other clans are observing Wu clan, but nobody wants to strike first, because we have not uncovered Wu clan's true foundation yet. If Ba clan is the first to jump out and is met with Wu clan's iron fist, we would suffer a loss, while the other clans would benefit, do you understand? Yes, I will remember Lord's words. You will stay in seclusion, if Wu Yihai does not come out, you will also stay inside. Bada said expressionlessly. Yes, Lord. Ba Quanfeng had a bitter expression as he acknowledged this, before taking his leave. Fang Yuan was still inside a dream realm. The GU immortals outside all thought he was undergoing closed cultivation. Most GU immortals thought that this was Wu Yihai's trade as an Eastern Sea lone cultivator, he had not adjusted his mindset. After all, lone immortals and secluded immortals love to enter secluded cultivation. A small portion, including Bada, thought that Fang Yuan was purposely doing this to deal with their political methods. But nobody thought that Fang Yuan was secretly exploring the dream realm. Inside the dream realm, it was now a crucial moment. Young Master Long had already gained a huge advantage in battle. He laughed at Fang Yuan. You no longer stand a chance, you cannot win. If you surrender now, you can still save some face. Fang Yuan was covered in injuries, he was breathing roughly as he gritted his teeth, not speaking. This was the 7th scene of the dream realm. Fang Yuan's cultivation level was also at rank 5. But young Master Long was even stronger than him, at rank 5 peak stage. Not only that, young Master Long had many useful GU worms, and with his Dragonman constitution, be it the defense of his dragon scales, or the regenerative properties of his dragon blood, they were on par with rank 5 GU worms. His advantage was too huge. Be it cultivation level, GU worms, or his own human body, Fang Yuan was suppressed heavily by young Master Long. It was already a huge surprise to the spectators in the dream realm that the fight lasted this long. In their opinion, even though Fang Yuan's spirit was commendable, this battle's result was already decided. Now, you have less than 5% of your primeval essence, let's see how you block my attack. Young Master Long shouted as he pounced at Fang Yuan. Even though Fang Yuan was in a bad state, his gaze was very clear, as he counted down in his head. After several failed explorations, he had already learned that he did not need to defeat young Master Long in this battle, he needed to stall for time, he needed sufficient time. Once time was up, a chance would occur. 7 breaths of time left. This time, I should give it a try, immortal killer move, unravel dream. Fang Yuan called out in his mind. Ping, young Master Long, who was approaching imposingly and arrogantly as he took large steps towards Fang Yuan, suddenly fell face down on the ground, after tripping over a rock. The entire arena turned silent. All of the female GU masters who were cheering for young Master Long since the start of the battle went quiet. How could I make such a mistake? Young Master Long had a jade-like appearance, but his face was flushing red as he turned angry from shame. He quickly got up, shouting as he charged at Fang Yuan again. Fang Yuan could only barely stand now, His injuries were too severe. He was simply waiting for his defeat. The entire place started cheering for young Master Long again. Go, young Master Long. Defeat this overconfident challenger. Ah, I will remember this scene in my heart. Young Master Long is so charming, if only I could stand beside him, that would be great. If he could talk to me, I would be satisfied in this life. The male GU masters were roaring, the female GU masters were calling out while cupping their hands or holding their faces. Immortal killer move, unravel dream. Fang Yuan could only use this again, because he could no longer put up a fight in this battle. Whoosh, a soft sound echoed. Young Master Long's movement paused. He was taking large steps, and was ready to win the battle, but now, an unexpected accident occurred again. Maybe because he took steps that were too large, or maybe his clothes were torn in the fight earlier, but now, his pants entirely ripped. Wind blew, young Master Long felt a chill in his crotch. The entire place went silent. Even Fang Yuan was surprised, thinking, the effect of Unravel Dream currently is really quite peculiar. Ah, suddenly, female GU masters screamed. The place went into a clamor. What is happening? Ha 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 ha, young Master Long's pants ripped. So young Master Long does not wear underwear. The male GU masters were watching with interest while the female GU masters were covering their faces, using the gaps between their fingers to continue watching secretly. But the view was quite disappointing. So young Master Long's, is this small? Young Master Long, his body was shaking intensely, his face was completely red, veins were popping on his forehead, his expression was extremely scary and malicious. Ah, I will kill you. The shame in his heart was driving young Master Long crazy, he pounced at Fang Yuan ferociously. However, Fang Yuan smiled like a winner. At the next moment, 7 breaths of time had passed. Plop, with a soft sound, young Master Long's entire body self-detonated. His dragon blood splattered on Fang Yuan's face. The entire place went into a commotion. Young Master Long. Why did this happen? Several female GU masters fainted on the spot. Did young Master Long kill himself due to the shame and embarrassment? It must be him. A GU master pointed at Fang Yuan. He must have used some evil method to kill young Master Long. He is a blood path demon. Boom boom boom. At the next moment, the spectating dragonmen all self-detonated one after another. At once, blood splattered all over the place, the surviving GU masters were in chaos. Fang Yuan blinked, worried that these people would bring problems to him, but suddenly, the dream realm transformed as a new scene appeared. Puff, this 7th scene is finally over. Fang Yuan let out a breath. He had been stuck at this 7th scene for 3 days. According to the special trait of the dream realm, he had to go through scene by scene, otherwise, he would need to repeat it endlessly. A moment later, Fang Yuan left the dream realm after failing the 8th scene. After regaining his senses, he treated his injuries. The dream realm caused severe damage to the soul. Thankfully, Fang Yuan's soul foundation was outstanding, and with Guts GU, these injuries were no problem. More than 10 breaths later, Fang Yuan's soul was as good as before. Next, he inspected his gains. Not bad, my water path attainment level has already reached quasi-grandmaster. Fang Yuan's water path attainment level was originally ordinary, it was not even master level. But the main character of this dream realm was a water path cultivator. By the time Fang Yuan got to the 7th scene, his water path attainment level went from ordinary to master. After he passed the 7th scene, it became extremely close to grandmaster. It seems that the protagonist of this dream realm had very high achievements, they were definitely higher than rank 6. Now that I have water path attainment level, I can annex most of those blessed lands inside City Well, in Eastern Sea. Wonderful, wonderful. Chapter 1232, Body Refinement. However, the mortal GU for Unravel Dream were expended greatly. Right now, I can use less than 10 Unravel Dreams. Thinking of this, Fang Yuan frowned lightly. This was a problem. Unravel Dream was very effective, but the expenditure of Dream Path Mortal GU was huge. And because these Dream Path Mortal GU were all refined by Fang Yuan solely, he could not raise their production. Give these Dream Path GU recipes to Langya sect and get the hairy man GU immortals to refine GU for him. Fang Yuan did not even consider this. At this time period, the value of these Dream Path Mortal GU was higher than Immortal GU. Of course, Fang Yuan believed that Langya land spirit could afford to pay this, but there was no absolute secret in this world, if it was exposed, the impact would be too big. Fang Yuan was at the peak of the 5 regions in terms of dream realm exploration. If these dream path mortal GU recipes were known to others, his advantage would be gone. This was what Fang Yuan did not want to see. Thus, he would rather refine them himself. Even though the production was lower, he had to keep it strictly to himself. As long as he did not expose it, who would know? I cannot get others to help, but I can make use of things like spring dream fruit trees to raise the efficiency of my dream path mortal GU refinement. Fang Yuan thought of the spring dream fruit tree again. Spring dream fruit trees were a very special type of plant. It existed in dreams and did not have solid form. But it needed a real living tree as its foundation to survive. Fang Yuan knew of one spring dream fruit tree. It was at the base of a nameless mountain in central continent. This volcano erupted every several hundred years. The large amounts of volcanic ash created fertile soil in the surroundings. Thus, many people lived there. Fang Yuan had once harvested the fruits of this spring dream fruit tree. They helped him greatly. But Fang Yuan could not transplant this spring dream fruit tree. The spring dream fruit tree at the base of the volcano was residing with a 1,000-year fire date tree. If Fang Yuan moved it, the spring dream fruit tree would be destroyed. And central continent was a lion's den to Fang Yuan now. He could not go there. Familiar face could allow him to disguise himself, but he could not avoid wisdom path GU Immortal's deductions. Dark limit Immortal GU could help him, but it was only rank 6, that was not enough. Fang Yuan could not solve this problem currently, it was out of his abilities. And he also could not find a second spring dream fruit tree. He had no such methods, he could only give up. After resting for a while, Fang Yuan did not rush into the dream realm. He needed to deduce the 8th scene. He was a wisdom path grandmaster. Deducing things in advance could help him to explore the dream realm. This was his advantage, he obviously made use of it. In terms of wisdom path, he did not lack attainment level, but immortal GU instead. Unravel Mystery was his only wisdom path immortal GU, it was alone without any accompanying wisdom path killer moves, thus, Unravel Mystery had little use. Right now, Fang Yuan was barely making use of it. In terms of wisdom path, he was not focusing on developing it currently, so Fang Yuan was keeping things in this state. Deductions were not just for Dream Realm, but also Fang Yuan's current environment and situation. If I guessed correctly, Ba Clan is my biggest enemy. Earlier, they looked for many ways to find trouble with me but I solved it all, now it seems that they want to observe on the sidelines. Ba Clan's passive state was making Fang Yuan feel wary. If they did not do anything, Fang Yuan would not know what they were thinking, preparing, or scheming. If they took action, Fang Yuan could sense their plan and deal with it, resolving whatever problems they sent to him. All in all, the situation is quite good. Wu Yihai's identity is really useful now. The weakness of the immortal opportunity business was no longer an issue after my arrangement, it became a scheme displayed right in front of me. Maybe I can trap some stupid GU immortals. After all, Wisdom Path GU immortals were few in numbers. Even if there were Wisdom Path GU immortals, they might not be righteous. If they did not know the rules of the righteous path, it was impossible. As for Wu En or Wu Liao, they were doing their work properly, Fang Yuan did not have to bother with them. Wu Liao had come to report some matters to Fang Yuan earlier, but Fang Yuan was determined to leave the work to them. He said that he was not to be bothered unless there were major matters. Wu Liao was extremely disappointed, thinking that Fang Yuan was the same as the previous rank 7, his attitude towards Fang Yuan turned cold. Fang Yuan sensed this easily but ignored it. This giant dream realm was expanding slowly at all times. When Fang Yuan secretly explored it, the dream realm would shrink, but to the entire dream realm, it was just a small portion, it only would slow down the speed of the dream realm's expansion. He could easily conceal it. Those demonic path and lone immortals who explored the dream realm through the immortal opportunity business were Fang Yuan's greatest concealment. These people usually met with difficulties in the dream realm, but there were one or two of them who could bring out dream path materials even though they failed the exploration. These dream path materials could naturally refine dream path GU worms. These GU immortals treated them like treasure, even though only a small number had gains, the remaining GU immortals were extremely excited. The righteous path clans were also secretly purchasing the GU materials from these GU immortals. Wu clan was no exception. However, the GU immortals who gained dream path GU materials rarely chose to sell them, they kept them as valuables. Wu clan only purchased around 10 GU materials. Fang Yuan did not dare to touch these materials, Wu clan was keeping a close eye on them. After resting for a while, Fang Yuan went into the dream realm. It was not the giant dream realm, but his own dream. To get Dream Path GU materials, one's own dream realm was the best and safest option. Unfortunately, these GU immortals did not know that. Southern border, Baishang Grotto Heaven. At the center of a huge GU formation, Bai Ningbing sat down with difficulty. Baishang Heavenly Spirit was in the air, manipulating the GU formation. The GU formation operated silently, multicolored lights were flickering from time to time, gathering in a stream, or splitting up like flowers, flying around aimlessly. Bai Ningbing had a pale expression, but his aura was much more stable than before. This was because the GU formation was enduring a portion of the pressure for him. He used his body to contain the raging wave rising dragon fire. It was truly too reckless, his life was on the line. Next is the most important step, we will target the raging wave rising dragon fire in your body. Baishang Heavenly Spirit had a solemn expression. Young master, you need to persevere and be completely focused, you need to coordinate with the GU formation and suppress the raging wave rising dragon fire. The entire process will take 49 days. During that period, you will not get any rest. If I do not say stop, it would not have ended yet. Even at the final moment, if you lose concentration, you will die for sure. Bai Ningbing's eyes were seeing stars, he felt dizzy, almost unable to sit properly. In this situation, not to mention 49 days, he would not even last half a day. In this critical junction, his lips curled up, he was smiling. He, this is so fun. According to my current condition, this is an impossible task. This can test the true limits of my body. Even if I die like this, it is very interesting. His body was tired, but he was very energetic in his mind. Breathing in deeply, Bai Ningbing called out to Baishang Heavenly Spirit, why are you waiting, aren't you going to start? Baishang Heavenly Spirit smiled as he thought, I had waited so long for this young master to arrive, he seems to be quite capable, he has no fear towards death. Thinking so, Baishang Heavenly Spirit activated the GU formation. Boom! At the next moment, brilliant lights burst out of the GU formation, spreading over the entire place. Ah! Bai Ningbing screamed as he raised his head. A huge flame burst out of his eyes, nose, mouth, and ears. Raging flames spread over his body, turning Bai Ningbing into a human-shaped fire pillar. Pain, pain, pain. Bai Ningbing was someone who would not frown even if he was heavily injured, but now, he had no such composure, he screamed loudly in pain. Simply because the pain was too intense, he had to do this to vent the anguish. Bai Ningbing was originally expecting the pain of a burning fire. But in fact, it was not like this. While screaming, he realized something. This humans-alike dragon's GU refinement method not only targeted the raging wave rising dragon fire but Bai Ningbing himself. Be it his body or soul, or the Tao marks in his body, they were all melted and separated under the humans-alike dragon's GU refinement method. This was the same as processing Bai Ningbing as an immortal material, the pain was simply too immense to describe. Hang on, hang on. Baishang Heavenly Spirit screamed anxiously. Bai Ningbing's eyes already had turned over to show the whites, the intense pain sent him into despair, he was in a state of being close to unconsciousness. If he fainted, at that very moment, he would be burned to a crisp by the raging dragon fire. Northern Plains, Snowy Mountain First Peak. Ma Hongyun was also screaming. Ah, the veins on his neck were popping. Intense lightning danced in his body, Ma Hongyun's body was shaking intensely, he seemed to be spasming or dancing frantically. After a moment, the lightning faded, as Ma Hongyun breathed roughly with sweat pouring out of his pores, he did not have any strength left. Failed again, Lady Wanshou frowned, feeling slightly angry. Ma Hongyun had already been lightning refined countless times, even though he suffered each time, he did not lack any limbs, he was still intact. Furthermore, his cultivation level had risen to rank 5 peak stage. This made Lady Wanshou speechless. Chapter 1233, Gathering of Central Continent GU Immortals. Central Continent, in a certain village, rumble. Intense rumbling was occurring on the mountain. An endless amount of rocks and soil were falling down the mountain grandly like an avalanche. Quickly escape for our lives. I am going to die, I am going to die. Father, where are you? Don't leave me behind. Seeing the disaster unfold, the peaceful village exploded into complete chaos. Countless people were scurrying around in a frenzy, some were lying on the ground in despair, children were crying as mothers held onto them, many had given up resisting. In a situation without anyone noticing, a figure was floating in the sky. It was a rank 7 GU immortal. He was dressed in a silky blue robe, his long hair extended to his shoulder, he was not brawny but rather delicate looking. At this moment, he was frowning, muttering as he looked at the mud flow. This mud flow is very strange. Normally speaking, before the mud flow there would be huge rain, but now, the weather was sunny. The truth was, the environment of the surrounding tens of thousands of li had been secretly modified by the rank 7 GU Immortal. He could ensure a proper amount of rain and sun to gain plentiful harvests yearly. Plop! Mountain rocks suddenly burst apart, as a huge brass shell appeared from underneath. The rank 7 GU Immortal with a blue robe floated in the sky, looking at this extremely eye-catching scene. He frowned slightly, before it eased. Oh. So it's a swamp crab. The swamp crab was a desolate beast, its body was covered in a hard shell, its eyes had vanished due to evolution, it had no weaknesses left. It was the king of the swamp among desolate beasts. The 10 pairs of claws were extraordinarily firm. The first pair of pincers was more fearsome than steel poles, a pair of pincers that could break mountain rocks or cut a flood dragon in half. Its remaining 18 claws, although thinner than the first pair, they were still thicker than 100-year-old trees. The blue-robed rank 7 GU Immortal saw this swamp crab and his eyes shone, feeling pleased. He was a water path GU Immortal. This swamp crab had both earth path and water path Dao marks. Killing it would give this blue-robed rank 7 GU Immortal a lot of usable immortal materials. But the swamp crab is only a desolate beast. If I nurture it well, it might grow into the ancient desolate beast muddy swamp crab, and above that, there is the mud-coat swamp crab. The mud-coat swamp crab is an immemorial desolate beast. I can stop dreaming about it. My immortal aperture blessed land cannot nurture an immemorial desolate beast, but I can try to get a muddy swamp crab. Thinking of this, the blue-robed rank 7 GU Immortal attacked. He extended his hand out of his wide sleeves. His skin was pale, and his fingers were slim. His 10 fingers moved around elegantly, they were covered in layers of multicolored lights. This was his special method to manipulate GU worms. Soon, countless GU worm auras rose in his body. There were mortal GU and also immortal GU, different auras weaved together, creating a complex aura that spread everywhere. The swamp crab in the mountain had no eyes, but using its wild beast instinct, it acutely sensed the threat in the air. The swamp crab started to go back inside the mountain. Its huge brass shell had already half sunken into it. But at this moment, the blue-robed rank 7 GU Immortal finished his preparations. His immortal killer move was unleashed. Rumble. Blue waves resembling the tides of the sea appeared out of nowhere, crashing towards the swamp crab. The swamp crab was huge, it could not dodge, it was swept by the waves. But even with the ebb and flow, the swamp crab did not move, its body was too heavy. The blue-robed rank 7 GU Immortal's lips curled with a confident smile of victory. His 10 fingers moved rapidly, only the afterimages of his fingers could be seen. It was a dazzling sight. His immortal killer move was not ordinary. As his red date immortal essence continued to be consumed, the light blue waves turned into dark blue waves. The waves got stronger and were 3 times as powerful as before. A deep spiral was formed in the water under the blue-robed rank 7 GU Immortal's skillful manipulation. The swamp crab was in the middle of the spiral, it could not put up resistance, it was swept by the spiral. Swish swish swish, the swamp crab's heavy body started to move quickly in the spiral, like a piece of seaweed, it could not help itself. The blue-robed rank 7 GU Immortal made a grabbing motion with his hands. As countless shadows of fingers dissipated in the sky, the tides expanded and rose into a torrential tsunami. Boom! With a huge sound, a gigantic tide of water crashed onto the swamp crab's back. The swamp crab's shell was very hard, but with the impact of the tsunami, a huge dent was formed on the smooth shell. The swamp crab did not move, it had fainted on the spot. The blue-robed rank 7 GU Immortal laughed heartily. He spread out the fingers on his right hand, as he raised his index finger. A gush of water shot up from the tides like a geyser, dragging the swamp crab's body towards the blue-robed rank 7 GU Immortal. The GU Immortal opened his immortal aperture's entrance, storing this swamp crab. Immortal. It is an immortal. Thank you Lord Immortal, you saved our entire village. This immortal even defeated the crab monster in the mountain. Such a grand battle shocked the mortals in the village intensely. Only after the battle was over, they reacted and shouted in joy, kowtowing to him. The blue-robed rank 7 GU Immortal closed his immortal aperture's entrance. He smiled lightly as he looked at the people below. It turned out that while fighting the swamp crab, he had placed a part of his concentration in manipulating the waves to sweep away all of the falling rocks and mud. As expected indeed of the famous water path GU Immortal in Central Continent, Muling Lan. At this time, a voice came from the clouds. The blue-robed rank 7 GU Immortal moved all 10 fingers as he stored away all of the water that was flooding the place. Next, he flew into the clouds and met with another GU immortal. This immortal wore a blue robe and had a square face, he had thick eyebrows and a tall nose bridge, he was emanating an aura of righteousness that could not be violated. Mu Ling Lan smiled as he greeted, "So Senior Shijie has arrived." Shijie returned the greeting. "I just arrived, to think that I would get to see your method of subduing the swamp crab." Mu Ling Lan waved his hand, saying humbly, "My methods are just small tricks from your perspective. But, Senior Shijie, I hear you have also gotten orders from Heavenly Court to join this Northern Plains battle." Shijie nodded. "That's right, Mu Ling Lan, you are also in the list of names, why don't we travel together?" Mu Ling Lan had an appreciative expression, "It is my honor to travel with Senior." Thus, the two immortals traveled together. The mortals were left behind, looking at the sky as they sighed in amazement. Mu Ling Lan and Shijie spoke along the way, they were not silent. Even though both were rank 7, Shijie was higher in seniority, having passed 2 grand tribulations, while Mu Ling Lan was still not at the first grand tribulation. Thus, Mu Ling Lan was seeking advice while Shijie taught him some things. Along the way, Shijie suddenly descended as he floated in the air and waited. Mu Ling Lan did not understand, this was not the gathering point. Shijie smiled. "Pardon me, I have a son called Zheng Yi, he had recently passed his ascension tribulation and become a GU immortal. But he lacks experience and is still very childish. I intend to bring him along in this Northern Plains trip to train him." "So that's it," Mu Ling Lan realized, looking towards the direction that Shijie was gazing at. Under the cloud cover, there was a small city. There were many buildings in the city. In one restaurant, a storyteller was talking about folklore regarding justice and heroism. Good kill." Among the guests, one young lad with thick eyebrows was dressed like a farmer with innocent eyes. Hearing the story of the main character killing the rich and helping the poor, he clapped in happiness. His screaming was loud and caused the curtains to shake slightly. The storyteller was shocked as he paused. The surrounding guests were all unhappily muttering, "Why are you screaming? Screaming all of a sudden, you'll scare us to death. Why are you screaming? Listen to the story quietly, or we will chase you away, little peasant." The young lad was flushing red, he scratched his head and he looked around in embarrassment. Sorry everyone." The guests heard his polite apology and their clamoring became softer, they no longer bothered about it. The young lad sat down slowly but suddenly his expression changed, he stood up as the table and chairs around him were pushed away, causing an even bigger commotion. "What now, you lad? Hey lad, are you asking for a beating?" The guests were furious, but suddenly, the young man's body shone with light as he shot out of the building like an arrow, tearing a hole in the window as he flew to the sky. The restaurant went into chaos, countless people were shouting in panic. The young lad came before Shijie and Mu Ling Lan as he cupped his fists, greeting politely. He was Shijie's son, Shi Zhengyi 1. The 3 immortals continued on their journey. A few days later, they arrived at a mountain range. An immortal GU house was stationed here. It was a pavilion, exquisite and small, there were countless bird cages hanging on it, as birds chirped continuously. This was an immortal GU house of Heavenly Lotus Sect, Canary Pavilion. Shijie saw this and nodded slightly. "I have long since heard that immortal GU houses would be sent out to attack Northern Plains. To think that this is Heavenly Lotus Sect's Canary Pavilion, this pavilion specializes in capturing flying beasts, it can move quickly, it is a good choice." Mu Ling Lan added. Heavenly Lotus Sect was created by Genesis Lotus Immortal Venerable, it owns the highest number of immortal GU houses, it makes sense that Heavenly Lotus Sect could send out an immortal GU house. Shi Zhengyi asked in confusion. Heavenly Lotus Sect has Canary Pavilion, Yuyang Palace, and Heavenly Pool, is there a 4th immortal GU house? Mu Ling Lan smiled. Little Yi, you might not know, recently, Heavenly Lotus Sect created its 4th immortal GU house, but it was kept secret. Shi Zhengyi heard this and thought. Senior Mu Ling Lan is from Spirit Butterfly Valley, this sect is most skilled in information path, it is not strange that he knows some secrets. But Heavenly Lotus Sect has 4 immortal GU houses now, it is truly shocking. Chapter 1234. Rank 10 Immortal GU. Central Continent, Spirit Affinity House. Immortal Killer Move, Meteor Rain. Zhao Lian Yun called out, a bright light bursting out of her body. This light flew out of her body, in the blink of an eye, it entered the sky, vanishing. At the next moment, the pale white space created by a GU formation seemed to be covered in blue ink, turning deep blue. Swish swish swish. Countless meteors were falling from the sky, raining down like a storm of arrows, it was a majestic sight. The meteors rained down on a hill like desolate beast tortoise. The tortoise's forelimbs and head retracted into its shell. Meteors landed on the desolate beast tortoise's back. Fragments were created in large numbers, but the remaining meteor rain landed around the desolate beast tortoise, creating huge pits encircling the tortoise. The meteor rain lasted 20 breaths of time until it stopped. Zhao Lianyun was covered in sweat, she was breathing roughly. A voice came from within the GU formation. Not bad, Zhao Lianyun, you are very proficient in meteor rain already. Next, go train your defensive killer move. As this was said, the desolate beast tortoise broke apart and turned into black crows. There were tens of thousands of crows. They were like black arrows, flying around as they shot towards Zhao Lianyun. Zhao Lianyun's eyes shone, she gritted her teeth as she used her defensive immortal GU before the crows hit her. Suddenly, her body was covered in a layer of silver light. The layer of thin silvery light successfully protected her from the impact and beaks of the countless crows. Splat splat splat, Zhao Lianyun's tiny little body was soon covered entirely by the black crows. Large numbers of crows were attacking the silver shield, loud crisp sound were resounding endlessly. Zhao Lianyun had a heavy expression. She could feel her immortal essence expending rapidly. I have to think of a plan. Zhao Lianyun had an idea as she started using a defensive killer move. At her first try, she successfully activated the defensive killer move. Immortal killer move, life-locking silver chain. From the silver shield around her body, 6 silvery chains flew out. The chains moved like dragons, they were extraordinary as they flew around in the crow group, stabbing and killing endlessly. Many crows died. Soon, in the 10 li of space around Zhao Lianyun, no crows were alive. The silver chains also turned into a round cylinder, protecting Zhao Lianyun, forming a tight defense. Any attacking crow would be ripped to shreds. This immortal killer move is amazing, it can attack and defend at once. It had incredible effect in this first battle. Zhao Lianyun was extremely pleased. The GU Immortal controlling the GU formation side internally. This Zhao Lianyun is an otherworldly demon indeed. Her cultivation level was raised to rank 5 peak stage using Relic GU. After being given a Phantom Aperture, Immortal GU, and Immortal Essence by Heavenly Court, she immediately showed her talent. Her battle talent is not weak at all. After so little practice with her Immortal Killer moves, she became proficient already. Of course, these Immortal Killer moves were specially chosen for Zhao Lianyun by Heavenly Court. They were very powerful and easy to control. They also used few GU worms, the steps for activating them were simple. Alright, next, we will train your healing methods. You will get injured, but don't worry or panic, as long as you perform normally and use your Immortal Killer move, you will recover. The GU Immortal controlling the GU formation said. Zhao Lianyun nodded, seeing the crows vanish around her. There was worry in her expression as she asked. I have already trained for half a year in this GU formation, when can I set off to Northern Plains for the rescue mission? The GU Immortal controlling the GU formation explained. Don't worry, this is a time path GU formation, a day outside is a year in here. Your time is very tight. Battles between GU Immortals are not just affected by training, there are also many situations that can occur in actual combat. Then give me some actual combat training. Zhao Lianyun shouted. This time path Super GU formation was placed in Spirit Affinity House. But everything inside was observed by Heavenly Court. Heavenly Court. Fairy Ziwei watched Zhao Lianyun start her combat training as worry appeared on her face. Lord Duke Long, do you really think that such training will allow Zhao Lianyun to adapt to the battlefield? This is too rushed, her battle strength cannot be relied on. Even though he drank half a kilogram of true dragon heavenly water, it only managed to save Duke Long's life, barely. He was still very old and weak. Right now, he was sitting in front of Fairy Ziwei, there was a chessboard between them. This chessboard had a huge origin, it was an Immortal GU house personally created by Star Constellation Immortal Venerable, Star Constellation chessboard, it most excelled in Wisdom Path deductions, it was the #1 Wisdom Path Immortal GU house. Fairy Ziwei was not qualified enough, but after Duke Long woke up, he immediately took out this legendary Immortal GU house from Heavenly Court's treasury and gave it to Fairy Ziwei, allowing her deduction capability to reach a terrifying level. Hearing Fairy Ziwei's doubts, Duke Long smiled lightly. We cannot depend on Zhao Lianyun, but I am not depending on her anyway. Fairy Ziwei's gaze shined. Lord Duke Long is counting on Love GU. That's right. Duke Long nodded. Love GU is very unique, even among rank 9 Immortal GU, it is extremely special. Most Immortal GU have only one effect, one type of ability. But Love GU is the opposite, it can unleash all sorts of effects and expend a variety of resources beyond Immortal Essence. Most importantly, the power of love can resist fate and luck. Resist fate and luck, Fairy Ziwei muttered, slightly shocked. That's right, love can resist fate to an extent. If not for that, how could Red Lotus Demon Venerable damage Fate Immortal GU back then? Duke Long exposed some shocking secrets. When he mentioned Red Lotus Demon Venerable, he had a solemn tone and complex expression. Fairy Ziwei was slightly shocked. What? Back then, did Red Lotus Demon Venerable obtain the acknowledgement of Love GU as well? Precisely. Duke Long confirmed this. Red Lotus was not an otherworldly demon, how could he have damaged Fate? It was because Love Immortal GU was with him, allowing him to damage Fate Immortal GU in the end. After the Battle of Yitian Mountain, Zombie Alliance was wiped out, only a few Shadow Sect members are left, and Spectral Soul is trapped inside the giant Dream Realm. So many Fate escapees have been destroyed, this allowed the repairing of Fate Immortal GU to be much easier than before. Speaking until this point, Duke Long needed to catch his breath. After resting for a while, he continued, however, even if Fate Immortal GU is repaired completely, our heavenly court cannot regain its former glory. This is because of Giant Sun Immortal Venerable. Fairy Ziwei deduced and got an answer immediately. Duke Long breathed in deeply. Yes, because after Giant Sun Immortal Venerable, Luck Path appeared in the 5 regions. In the past, Fate was unchangeable. As long as we repaired Fate, Heavenly Court would return to the apex again. But now, we have Luck Path. Fate is certain while luck is uncertain. Good luck is a positive uncertainty for oneself while bad luck is a negative uncertainty for oneself. Even if we repair Fate Immortal GU completely, we can only control certainty, we cannot control the uncertainty. Only by controlling Luck Path as well, can we allow Heavenly Court to rule the 5 regions and 2 heavens completely. Thus, Lord Duke Long, you gave an order to gather elite GU immortals of all 10 great ancient sects to go to Northern Plains, in order to snatch fortune rivaling Heaven Immortal GU. If we get fortune rivaling Heaven, will Heavenly Court be able to control luck? Fairy Ziwei asked. Duke Long nodded before shaking his head. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's entire life of cultivation had 3 stages, self-luck, all living beings' luck, and heaven and earth luck. Fortune rivaling heaven is the apex of all living beings' luck. Its true effect is to allow the possessor to continuously absorb the luck of all lifeforms around them. Like right now, looking at Ma Hongyun, fortune rivaling heaven Gu's effect is related to the people near him. It continues to absorb their luck, collecting them on Ma Hongyun. That is why Shui Hu and Lady Wan Shou continue to fail. Especially in refining a rank 8 Immortal GU, the chances are simply too low. Fortune rivaling heaven Immortal GU might be rank 8, but it actually has quasi-rank 9 power. With enough time, and if the affected individuals have enough luck, fortune rivaling heaven Immortal GU would be able to absorb even more luck and gather it into one person. This is also why Giant Sun Immortal Venerable named it fortune rivaling heaven. The meaning was, by absorbing the luck of all living beings, and gathering it into one person, supreme luck that rivals heaven and earth would be born. So that's it. Hearing Duke Long's detailed explanation, Fairy Ziwei had a realization. Even though Duke Long was from the olden antiquity era, over the process of his hibernation, he had woken up several times, he knew many precious lost secrets. Duke Long continued, if we can obtain fortune rivaling heaven now, we would gain the accumulations in cultivation of half of Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's life. In the future, if we have the chance, we can search for heaven and earth luck and self-luck, to control all of these Luck Path Immortal GU, including fortune rivaling heaven. When Fate GU is repaired, Heavenly Court will reign supreme in the world. If we have a chance to go further and refine the Luck Path Immortal GU with Fate Immortal GU, we might be able to create the legendary rank 10 Immortal GU, Destiny. By then, Heavenly Court will understand the complete profundity of Heaven's will, we will act in the capacity of Heaven, we will become the eternal rulers of the universe. Duke Long spoke softly, but towards the end, his eyes were shining, he showed a fanatical and heated gaze. Rank 10 Immortal GU. Even a GU Immortal at Fairy Ziwei's level was tongue-tied upon hearing such secrets. Above rank 9, there really is rank 10 realm? Fairy Ziwei asked in complete shock and disbelief. Chapter 1235. Blood competition ends. Duke Long sighed. I cannot tell you if there is a rank 10 GU Immortal realm. But rank 10 Immortal GU likely can exist. Because this was confirmed by Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable himself. Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable was the rank 9 Venerable after Spectral Soul Demon Venerable. He was kind and merciful, he did not dispute with people and loved peace, but like Giant Sun Immortal Venerable, he did not truly enter Heavenly Court. There were only 3 Immortal Venerables who truly entered Heavenly Court and fused their immortal apertures into Heavenly Court. From the start of history, they were respectively, the first rank 9 Venerable, primordial origin Immortal Venerable, the creator of Wisdom Path, star constellation Immortal Venerable, as well as the creator of Wood Path and the owner of Heavenly Essence Treasure Imperial Lotus, Genesis Lotus Immortal Venerable. Northern Plains. The blood battle martial competition was having its final battle. Chu-du walked onto the stage and said, "I am honored." In front of him was a female immortal. She was clad in dazzling palace attire with the lower hems touching the ground, her black hair was tied up high with jade and gold ornaments. Her skin was snow white, her brows slender, her gaze sharp, and her chest was voluptuous and perky. She looked stately and beautiful, giving a feeling that she could not be offended. It was Gong Wanting, Prince Feng Xian's wife. Gong Wanting had a solemn expression as she sighed lightly. "Domination Immortal, you live up to your reputation, you defeated Lu Zhuanshen and Yao Yuanying consecutively. Regardless of the result of this battle, the reputation of Domination Immortal will spread in Northern Plains." Lu Zhuanshen and Yao Yuanying, who were mentioned, had pale expressions. There was no choice, Chu-du was stronger than them. All in all, the blood battle martial competition was about to end with the Huang Jin tribes suppressing Chu sect and Baizu tribe's alliance. But towards the end, Chu-du took the stage, giving a slap to the Righteous Path allied forces. The power of Domination Immortal struck wariness in these Huang Jin bloodline GU immortals. This was the final battle. Without any other options, Gong Wanting stepped forward. This was a battle between the leaders of both sides. "Please." Chu-du was very gentlemanly. Even though he was injured, he did not panic. Surprise flashed in Gong Wanting's eyes as she smiled. "Domination Immortal is truly brave and heroic." Saying this, a purple light shot towards Chu-du like a blade or sword. Chu-du shouted, moving ahead instead, charging towards Gong Wanting bravely. An intense battle shook heaven and earth. The two sides exchanged moves, and after 100 rounds, there was no victor. They fought on both the ground and in the sky. The blood plane was almost completely destroyed. The spectating immortals had to move back by 30,000 li to avoid getting involved in Chu-du and Gong Wanting's battle. Chu-du's might was unstoppable, he attacked more than he defended, while Gong Wanting did the opposite with much energy to spare. This intense battle lasted for another 100 rounds. Chu-du was covered in injuries, blood spewed out of him, but Gong Wanting was also no longer as relaxed. Her gaze was sweeping over Chu-du, preventing him from attacking her suddenly. She did not dare to be careless. The GU immortal spectators were all moved. They quickly commented on this intense battle. It was the clash of two experts at the peak of rank 7. Without rank 8 GU immortals interfering, these two would not be surpassed by Northern Plains GU immortal world for several hundred years. The sun set, the moon rose, from morning to night, the victor was still not decided. Battling intensely without stop, it was truly heated. By the dawn of the second day, both sides were much weakened, the battle was at its end, victory could be decided at the next moment. The GU immortal spectators held their breaths as they watched the ending of this battle. But right at this moment, a grand pillar of light descended and separated Chu-du and Gong Wanting, who were fighting fiercely. "That is enough, this battle will end in a draw." Rank 8 GU immortal Yao Huang showed himself in the air. He looked away as he said, "Does Heavenly Lord agree with me?" Heavenly Lord Baizu appeared from a cloud layer, nodding, "We will fight in the sky." Saying this, both rank 8 GU immortals flew up into white heaven under everyone's watchful gazes. Soon, the immortals in blood plane could hear intense explosions coming from white heaven. It sounded like thunder and beast roars. Domination immortal Chu-du let out a breath of air. He was satisfied with this result. Gong Wanting had a special status. She was Prince Feng Xian's wife. Chu-du thought of this and could not kill her. If he did, he would offend Prince Feng Xian. When Chu-du was all alone, he might not be afraid, but with Chu sect established, times were different. And Chu-du himself had displayed incredible abilities in this blood battle martial competition. For the sake of Baizu tribe, Heavenly Lord Baizu would not let Chu-du die here. Like what Yao Huang and Heavenly Lord Baizu had discussed before the martial competition, both sides managed to keep their losses to an acceptable level. Gasp! Incredible, a crack appeared in white heaven. Hearing this, I can tell how intense the battle is. Unfortunately, we cannot penetrate the heavenly wind chi wall and observe the battle in white heaven. The spectators did not leave, they were conversing. The battle between Heavenly Lord Baizu and Yao Huang would decide everything. During the entire process of the blood battle martial competition, no matter how many sacrifices or losses there were, or all the different battle results, none could compare to this one. Be it either side, they had suffered great losses. But GU immortals who actually died were not many. Several rank 6 GU immortals died, few rank 7 GU immortals died, the biggest loss was actually Yi Lui Qunxing who Fang Yuan killed. Towards the later part of the competition, both sides came to a subtle agreement. Of course, GU immortals getting injured was still a huge issue. Because of Dao marks, injuries were hard to heal, the cost of it would make GU immortals pay a huge price. Inside White Heaven, Heavenly Lord Baizu and Yao Huang were sitting opposite each other, a chessboard was in front of them. Please try this, my newly made gold leaf tea. Yao Huang chuckled, recommending his tea. Heavenly Lord Baizu drank it as he nodded, taking out a big bag of snacks. This is my specialty, fried centipede. The two rank 8 great experts drank tea and ate fried centipedes as they played chess, it was an enjoyable time. Yao Huang sighed. This fried centipede is fresh and delicious, the flavor never gets tiring, this is truly a rare delicacy. Heavenly Lord Baizu praised too. Brother Yao Huang's gold leaf tea is superior to silver leaf tea. It seems that you are not far from refining resurrection from the dead GU. Every tea or wine could be treated as an incomplete food path GU recipe. Often, when GU immortals compete with their refinement path attainment, to avoid causing a commotion or to protect their reputation, they would offer wine or tea. When GU immortals taste the tea or wine, they would understand the other person's GU refinement attainment. Of course, this method was very vague, it was only a shallow probe, it could not show both parties' true strength. Heavenly Lord Baizu could taste something different in Yao Huang's new tea. Because he had drank the silver leaf tea before, comparing the two, Heavenly Lord Baizu could see how Yao Huang's refinement path attainment had improved. This improvement was naturally obtained from Yao Huang's attempts at refining resurrection from the dead immortal GU. As for Heavenly Lord Baizu, the snack that he created was not simple either, it was a display of his own refinement path attainment. But Heavenly Lord Baizu had been busy creating Baizu tribe recently, he also had to attack Heifan Grotto Heaven, his refinement path aspects did not improve, thus, his fried centipede did not become different. But Yao Huang's gaze was focused below them. Not far away from them, two figures were fighting. One resembled Heavenly Lord Baizu, while the other resembled Yao Huang. Below White Heaven, the clamor that these GU immortals in the blood plane heard was caused by these two figures. Yao Huang praised. Heavenly Lord, your cloning method is becoming more profound, you can actually mimic 30% of rank 8 level strength. Heavenly Lord Baizu shook his head as he smiled, I don't deserve such praise. These last days, while attacking Heifan Grotto Heaven, I created this immortal killer move after multiple failed attempts at invading it. I have once heard that Longevity Heaven possesses one of Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable's immortal killer moves, Perfect Pair, it can allow a GU immortal to create a clone that has their full power. My method cannot compare to Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable. Yao Huang smiled. He understood clearly that Heavenly Lord Baizu mentioned Longevity Heaven for more complex underlying reasons. Yao Huang explained. Don't worry, Heavenly Lord, as long as Longevity Heaven's rank 8 GU immortals do not show up, just the Longevity Edict cannot mobilize us. Furthermore, the situation in every region is dependent on the situation of the respective rank 8 GU immortals, isn't it? Right now in Northern Plains, among the rank 8 GU immortals, old ancestor Shui who has the highest battle strength. If he succeeds in refining fortune rivaling Heaven Immortal GU, he would be unstoppable. But I can see that Snowy Mountain Blessed Land is heavily guarded now, even we will have trouble breaking into it. Our conflict is just an internal conflict of the righteous path. But if old ancestor Shui who refines fortune rivaling Heaven GU, the situation in Northern Plains would favor the demonic path. Yao Huang said slowly as Heavenly Lord Baizu nodded, he agreed with the former's analysis. Originally, when 88 Truyong building collapsed, Northern Plains' situation changed, the demonic path rose in power. If old ancestor Shui who manages to refine fortune rivaling Heaven Immortal GU, the situation would be even more uncontrollable. Compared to the rise of new righteous path forces, Yao Huang was more unwilling to see the demonic path being rampant. Thankfully, in this martial competition, I invited many lone immortals and demonic path members, a portion of them died, while the rest would join either Chu sect or Baizu tribe, this would weaken the demonic path and strengthen our righteous path. Heavenly Lord Baizu spoke with a smile. Rank 8 GU immortals had deep considerations. The blood battle martial competition was helping Yao tribe weaken the other Huangjin tribes, but Heavenly Lord Baizu and Chu Du were also weakening the lone and demonic cultivators, stabilizing the situation in Northern Plains GU immortal world. But upon the mention of Chu sect, Yao Huang frowned. This Chu sect needs to change. Northern Plains will not allow the emergence of a sect. If Chudu wants Chu sect to exist, he has to change it to Chu tribe, otherwise the righteous path will not allow it. Chapter 1236. Cultivation itself is enjoyment. Yao Huang's attitude was very firm. Heavenly Lord Baizu laughed. You don't have to worry about this, Chudu understands this and has already talked to me, he can concede on this point. That's good. Yao Huang nodded. Both of them talked for a while more, their chess game was half done, they had wasted enough time, both immortals flew down from White Heaven. Next, they announced that Yao Huang had won the battle by a slight margin, and this blood battle martial competition ended with the victory of the Huang Jin tribes. Chu sect and Baizu tribes GU immortals had grim expressions, only Chudu was calm, he had expected this. In contrast, the Huang Jin tribe GU immortals were in a joyous mood. The consequences that followed would not be detailed, but the blood battle martial competition that shook Northern Plains GU immortal world came to an end. Southern border, giant dream realm. Deep in the sea. There was darkness, one could not see their own fingers. Fang Yuan was inside, suffering huge injuries. The pressure of the sea was intense, most importantly, around him, there were countless long dragon silhouettes, swimming around him vigilantly. These were dragons living in the sea. Each sea dragon had desolate beast-level battle strength. There were hundreds, or thousands of sea dragons moving in countless layers. Fang Yuan was currently a rank 6 GU immortal, but facing this sea dragon group, there was nothing he could do. The most troublesome thing is that I need to kill all of the sea dragons to pass this 9th scene of the dream realm. Fang Yuan smiled bitterly internally. If this was reality, it was unclear what the chances would be for him to break out of the encirclement and try to survive this dangerous situation. But in this dream realm, there were specific rules. If Fang Yuan wanted to break out and survive, the dream realm exploration would fail. Fang Yuan had no way out. To kill these sea dragons, with just my foundation and methods in this dream realm, it is impossible. Thus, if Fang Yuan wanted to pass this, he had only one option available, Immortal Killer Move Unravel Dream. But there are so many sea dragons, Unravel Dream can be used less than 10 times, it cannot resolve this huge problem. It seems that this scene is the final moment of the Dream Realm's main character. Fang Yuan gained deep insight. Dream realms had different categories, most were realistic dream realms, they replicated the lifeforms, experiences in their lives, but there were also few which were rare and peculiar, dream realms that were strange and weird. Fang Yuan was exploring a realistic dream realm, but the severity of the content might be exaggerated compared to the actual event, even though there was some actual scenes that happened before. This GU Immortal was once a combat Immortal Sect GU Master. He had decent aptitude, but after becoming rank 6, compared to other GU Immortals, he was no longer so amazing. The 10 great ancient sects of Central Continent allocate resources according to sect contribution. This GU Immortal's aptitude was far from exemplary, he did not have great strength or powerful methods, it was hard to get sect contribution points, so he could not get much resources. That was why he went to explore Eastern Sea. In the end, when he passed the regional walls, his Immortal Aperture's foundation was damaged. Next, he heard some rumors about the Immortal GU House Dragon Palace and came to this sea area. In the end, he died here from the attacks of the sea dragons. Thinking of this, Fang Yuan made up his mind, he chose to give up. He left this dream realm. Normally speaking, the deeper one gets into the dream realm, the greater their gains after getting past the scene. But Fang Yuan wisely chose to retreat. He withheld his remaining uses of Unravel Dream, he was not going to waste them here for no reason. A moment later, Fang Yuan returned to reality. Using Guts GU to heal himself, he inspected his own body again. Water Path Quasi-Grandmaster. His attainment level did not change. He was still a distance away from Grandmaster level. But it was already enough to many of the blessed lands in City Well, because most of them were rank 6 blessed lands. According to my current situation, it would be best if I could raise all of my attainment levels to at least Master. That way, I would be able to annex any rank 6 blessed land. Even though rank 6 blessed lands have diminishing effect on raising my cultivation level, with enough quantity, the gains are still very prominent. Fang Yuan thought. Next, he entered his own dream realm and refined some Dream Path Mortal GU. Of course, he used some time for deductions as well. These last days, he had an inspiration, to fuse the Killer Move's Myriad Self and Sword Dragon transformation. His deductions were progressing smoothly, Fang Yuan had enough strength path attainment, and his transformation path attainment level was also Grandmaster, the only drawback was that his wisdom path deduction methods were slightly lacking. But it was no problem. Lady White Rabbit came to report to him about the situation of the Immortal Opportunity business, as well as some information. Fang Yuan sat down on his cushion as he shut his eyes, telling her, "Go ahead and talk, I am listening." Fang Yuan was deducing his own matters while listening to Lady White Rabbit. He was multitasking. A Wisdom Path Grand Master could do this with ease. Lady White Rabbit talked as she looked at Fang Yuan's face, deep affection was in her gaze. But to her disappointment, until she finished her report, Fang Yuan did not open his eyes to look at her once. "Okay, you can go now," Fang Yuan said. Lady White Rabbit could only leave slowly while feeling disappointed, as she looked at him with a longing gaze. Outside the room, Wu An was waiting long ago. "Lady, this way please." Wu An's attitude towards Lady White Rabbit was even more polite than before. Lady White Rabbit was allowed to meet Fang Yuan, this showed that he still favored her, thus, Wu An placed a lot of importance on Lady White Rabbit. Because she represented the future of the Immortal Opportunity business. Lady White Rabbit was a little worried, asking Wu An, does Lord Wu Yihai cultivate like this all the time? Wu An was stunned. What do you mean? Lady White Rabbit sighed in a gloomy tone. Lord Wu Yihai cultivates really hard, he does not even waste any second of his time. Even when listening to my report, he did not stop cultivating. Has he always been like this? Wu An blinked. Lady, I will speak the truth. Even though I have never watched Lord Wu Yihai cultivate, just a glimpse can tell many things. Lord Wu Yihai might be the most hard-working cultivator I have ever seen in my life. Disregarding anything else, just the fact that he is staying in his room and cultivating without leaving for so long, that would be impossible for me. Lady White Rabbit became even more worried. Precisely so, I am worried about Lord Wu Yihai. When he cultivates, he truly risks his life. There is a limit to cultivation speed. If he keeps at this, I am afraid he might not be able to endure it, and his mental state would be ruined. Wu An, if you have a chance, you must talk to Lord Wu Yihai, okay? Wu An thought. You have met with him more than I have, what can I do? But he still nodded, acknowledging, if I get a chance, I will talk to Lord Wu Yihai about this. Fang Yuan analyzed Lady White Rabbit's information. He had a clear grasp of Southern Border's situation all along thanks to this. All in all, Southern Border was still quite peaceful. Even though Wu Dushu died, and Wu Clan only had one rank 8 GU Immortal, Wu Yang, left. But this person displayed great battle strength and political methods after taking over Wu Clan. Precisely so, even though Ba Clan, Tai Clan and others were watching closely, they had to contain their dark intentions. The situation of the rank 8 GU Immortals was reflected on Southern Border in many aspects. The situation at the Super GU formation was still calm. The Immortal Opportunity business was ongoing, GU Immortals benefited and profited secretly, they were very happy. There were also GU Immortals who did not participate, simply looking on from afar. The Northern Plains Blood Battle Martial competition has ended, Chu sect became Chu tribe, Baizu tribe was preserved, while the Huang Jin tribes won and gained a lot of cultivation resources. This way, Northern Plains is also stabilizing. Eastern Sea, Western Desert, and Central Continent have little information available, most of them are obtained from Treasure Yellow Heaven, I only have a vague idea. But they are also relatively peaceful now. In truth, a peaceful state was most common in the 5 regions. Who would go ahead and fight to the death if a peaceful life was available? Northern Plains chaos was thanks to Fang Yuan. He destroyed 88 Truyong building and in addition to Shadow Sect schemes, a terrifying situation was created. Only in the 5 regions chaotic war did the 5 regions go into chaos, all sorts of order was torn down, fighting to become GU Immortal was the main trend. The current situation was very calm. This was best for Fang Yuan. He entered his own dream realm, refining his dream path Mortal GU. Amidst green and verdant mountains, the merchant caravan was temporarily resting at the base of a mountain. Boom, moonlight curved in the air agilely, moving past a rock ahead and hitting the tree branch behind it accurately. Immediately, wood shavings were sliced off, the thin branch was nearly cut down by the moonlight. After practicing for so many days, I finally succeeded. Fang Yuan was covered in sweat, he felt immense joy. Lad, not bad huh? GU Master Big Beard walked towards Fang Yuan. Uncle Beard, thanks for teaching me this. Fang Yuan gave a wide smile, he showed his white teeth as he smiled, he was a bright and joyful lad. GU Master Big Beard was almost blinded by his shining aura, he blinked as he asked in confusion, normal people would only be able to go through such intense training for a week or so. But you woke up early and slept late, you would cultivate so long as you had the time, after a month, your enthusiasm has not faded yet. Is this boring cultivation process really so interesting? Fang Yuan clenched his fists, his eyes were shining like the stars in the sky. Of course, uncle, don't you find it amazing and incredible? A person can unleash incredible attacks with a wave of their hand. Cultivation itself is a very enjoyable thing. Chapter 1237, Dragon Lady. GU Master Big Beard naturally did not understand Fang Yuan's emotions. As a transmigrator from Earth, the special abilities of GU Masters were simply superhuman. Turning from a normal person to a superhuman, of course Fang Yuan would be excited and enthusiastic. Furthermore, my aptitude is low, only at C grade. How can I not work harder? The young Fang Yuan chuckled as he spoke. Uncle, go ahead with your business, I will continue cultivating. Fang Yuan said again. GU Master Big Beard laughed as he shook his head, tactfully leaving. Standing afar, he looked at Fang Yuan who was cultivating earnestly. He had a complex gaze as he muttered, even if you work so hard, what for? C-grade aptitude. Cruel reality will assault you and extinguish that fire of enthusiasm. Failure will get rid of your excitement. Such enthusiasm and hard work, how long can it last? At another corner of the dream realm, the real Fang Yuan was holding onto the branch that was nearly cut off by the moonlight. Not bad. This dream path GU material is quite good. If I am lucky, I can refine more than 10 dream path mortal GU. He smiled lightly as his deep dark pupils flickered with light, resembling stars in the sky. Bai Shang Grotto Heaven. The humans alike dragon's GU refinement method was at its final crucial moment. Persevere, you cannot slack for even a moment, Master, you can do it, you can definitely succeed. Bai Shang Heavenly Spirit screamed. The GU formation was operating, the pillar of light was tall and mighty, like it was holding up heaven and earth. The center of the pillar was so shiny that one could not look at the light directly. There was a human-shaped figure of fire in it. It was Bai Ningbing. His face and body had all melted, like candles that were exposed to intense heat. His hair was all burned, his eyes were blind, even his hands and legs were all melted into one. Bai Ningbing was nothing like a human. The intense pain had never stopped assaulting him for the last weeks. Initially, he screamed in pain, roaring at the sky, nearly fainting. But afterwards, he survived countless dangerous situations, forcibly preserving his life until now. Gritting his teeth and enduring. Next, his teeth and tongue were also melted by the raging wave rising dragon fire, fusing together. He smiled, a relentless smile. Next, he could not even smile anymore, because his nose and face had all melted like wax. Now, he was just a human pole. It was a horrific sight. But Bai Shang Heavenly Spirit could sense Bai Ningbing's determination. His determination was firm as steel. After the burning of the fire and the pain that tempered him, he was becoming more firm and unwavering. Such determination made even Bai Shang Heavenly Spirit lost for words. Initially, even Bai Shang Heavenly Spirit did not think Bai Ningbing would succeed. Because Bai Ningbing's situation was too terrible, the humans alike dragon's GU refinement method was extremely dangerous. Every GU refinement carried risks of failure. In history, any GU master or GU immortal who tried to turn into a dragonman would be extremely careful and make ample preparations, only taking this risk after they were sufficiently prepared. Boom! An intense sound resembled the striking of thunder. The pillar of light dissipated, as a lump of fire flew upwards. It was shaped like a fiery dragon, its red body was strong as ever. After flying one round in the sky, it flew down towards Bai Ningbing. Bai Ningbing was a lump of meat now. His bones, flesh, dow marks, blood, and skin were all fused into one. The meat seemed like a bottomless hole, absorbing the whole of the fiery dragon that crashed towards it. Next, the meat turned red, the temperature rose, intense flames were raging nearby, causing distortions in the air due to the high heat. When the lump of meat became red to the extreme, it exploded. Within a bright light, a brand new Bai Ningbing was born. Success, we succeeded. Bai Shang Heavenly Spirit stared with wide eyes and muttered. Under the rays of the lingering light, Bai Ningbing raised her head to the sky. Only to hear her say, 10,000 Li Mountain and 9 layers of the abyss, dragons coil at the bottom of the well. Today I rise up towards the clouds, my proud body soars towards true freedom. Her voice sounded like the roar of a dragon, winds were rumbling as it echoed in the entire Bai Shang Grotto heaven. Bai Shang Heavenly Spirit was in admiration. He knelt on the ground and said, "Congratulations to Master's new life, you have regained your immortal status." Bai Ningbing stopped her roaring, she descended. She was expressionless, her skin was white as snow, her facial features were even more distinct now, her beauty had surpassed her former self. Her pale blue dragon eyes were emitting a cold aura to the outside world. But at the next moment, shock was expressed in her dragon eyes. What is going on? I already became an immortal. I have a real immortal aperture. Why did I become a woman? This, Bai Shang Heavenly Spirit thought about his words carefully before explaining. The humans alike dragon's GU refinement method uses master as the immortal material. The result of the refinement depends on the proportion of immortal materials and how they mix together. Master had transformation path Dao marks earlier. To think that these Dao marks would affect your body and actually influence the final result of the GU refinement, turning you into a dragon lady. Bai Ningbing. She realized that the information path Dao marks and all her alliance agreements were gone, but the transformation path Dao marks still affected the results of her refinement. Like what the Heavenly Spirit said, the humans alike dragon's GU refinement method could not be strictly controlled, the participating immortal material had a lot of influence on the result. Bai Ningbing furrowed her brows. This was like a curse. Her female body curse had started ever since she was in Qingmao Mountain. After pondering for a while, Bai Ningbing asked, "How can I turn back to a man?" Bai Shang Heavenly Spirit replied, "This is easy, just cultivate transformation path in addition." Bai Ningbing was knowledgeable. She shook her head. "That does not solve the underlying problem. I have my northern dark ice soul physique. I will cultivate ice and snow path in the future." Bai Shang Heavenly Spirit thought about it before saying, "Master, you have been reborn, the female body is your true gender. But if you want to change it, you will need to approach its root cause and find the other half of that rotation GU from the past, and refine it into an immortal GU. Using that immortal GU, you will be able to become a man." Bai Ningbing. The image of a person appeared in her mind uncontrollably. "Fang Yuan, to think that you would still be an obstacle to me now." HMPH. Bai Ningbing snorted internally. She knew that Fang Yuan had the rank 8 battle strength upper extreme heavenly eagle. She had to plan for a long time to get that crucial GU worm from Fang Yuan. Central Continent, Spirit Affinity House. Above the clouds, GU immortals gathered. Spirit Affinity House's first Supreme Elder said, "Bu Gen Z, you have to protect our sect's fairy in this Northern Plains journey. She is only a false immortal, and her ascension was only recently." Bu Gen Z was a Supreme Elder of Spirit Affinity House, a rank 7 Phantom Path GU immortal. He said, "Everyone, as long as I am alive, I will ensure her safety." He spoke with great confidence. First Supreme Elder nodded, looking at Zhao Lianyun. "You must not charge ahead in this journey, always protect your own safety. Leave the rest to the others. The GU immortals going with you are all elite experts of the 10 great ancient sects. With our advantage as the attacker, there is a high chance of success." Zhao Lianyun nodded. She understood now that this granny was actually the GU immortal with the highest authority in Spirit Affinity House. She bowed deeply to the first Supreme Elder, Shu Hao, and Li Junying. "I am going now." Set off. First Supreme Elder waved her hand. Bu Gen Z cupped his fists, bringing Zhao Lianyun with him, riding on a ruin bat and flying away. To think that Zhao Lianyun would become our sect's fairy. Heaven is toying with us. I wonder if she will be able to save that Ma Hongyun. In my opinion, the chances are high. After all of the GU immortals going to Northern Plains are elites of our sects. This is a powerful force. The GU immortals conversed as they left. "I will go talk to our daughter." Fairy Bai Qing had a look of worry as she spoke to Feng Juzhe. Feng Juzhe nodded. This time, he also wanted to go to Northern Plains, but Heavenly Court denied his suggestion. Feng Juzhe was a legendary genius rarely seen in thousands of years. He was so talented none could match him. He possessed rank 8 battle strength with just rank 7 cultivation level. According to common logic, he would be the best person to send to Northern Plains, but he was unable to become part of the rescue team. At this point, Feng Juzhe did not know what Heavenly Court was thinking or planning. When Fairy Bai Qing met with Feng Jinhuang, the latter was sitting by the lake, looking at the ripples on the surface as she went into a daze. Fairy Bai Qing felt caring and affection in her heart. She knew her daughter had always wanted to become Spirit Affinity House's fairy. She worked hard for it. But now, Zhao Lianyun gained Love Gu's acknowledgement. She was also supported by Heavenly Court, becoming Spirit Affinity House's fairy. This way, Feng Jinhuang was eliminated from the competition. Fairy Bai Qing walked towards Feng Jinhuang. "Why? Still thinking about the fairy position?" "No, mother, I was thinking, why did I not obtain Love Gu's acknowledgement?" Feng Jinhuang's eyes were red. She had secretly cried earlier. "That is because you do not have love." Fairy Bai Qing sat beside Feng Jinhuang, stretching out her hand as she touched Feng Jinhuang's hair. Feng Jinhuang asked, "Why do I not have love? What is love?" Fairy Bai Qing's gaze flickered. She thought about it before saying, love is different from familial affection and friendship, it is a type of affinity, like when I met your father. Love came suddenly and nobody expected it. Love cannot be forced, it is all up to your affinity. Feng Jinhuang shook her head. I do not want to leave it to fate, this is not my style, I want to find love and be acknowledged by Love Jiyu, and take back the position of fairy. Mother, do you think this is possible? Fairy Bai Qing smiled. This was basically impossible, but seeing her daughter's expectant gaze, as a mother, how could she say the truth? Thus, she said, there is a possibility, but you need to find a lover first. A lover is not your father or mother, or those female companions by your side. Chapter 1238. Luck Path Master. Mother, you mean to say, it has to be. Feng Jinhuang frowned. In the process of her growth, there were few youngsters who could match her. Spirit Affinity House had more women than men, this made Feng Jinhuang look down on those males of her generation since a young age. There was another important reason, that was, Feng Jinhuang's father was too talented, it elevated her expectations, she could not see anything good in those boys around her. Fairy Bai Qing nodded, asking teasingly, that's right Huang among those youngsters you met, who are you interested in? Feng Jinhuang frowned, after thinking about it, she shook her head. Fairy Bai Qing almost laughed out loud, her daughter's puzzled look was extremely cute, she asked again, then let me change my question, which youngster left the deepest impression on you? At this moment, Feng Jinhuang was stunned. Fang Yuan's image uncontrollably appeared in her mind. Fang Yuan was the one who dealt a pitiful defeat to her, Feng Jinhuang would never forget the scene on Danghun Mountain. Furthermore, Fang Yuan had saved Feng Juji's life before. All of these events made Feng Jinhuang have extremely complex feelings towards Fang Yuan. It was not pure hatred. It was also not pure gratitude. Fairy Bai Qing looked at Feng Jinhuang, who was in a daze, and her expression turned dark, she became flustered as she blamed herself, oh no. Why did I forget about Fang Yuan's existence? Fairy Bai Qing quickly said, Huang don't think about it. As a mother, Fairy Bai Qing was very worried. Even though Feng Jinhuang had grown a lot, she was still innocent regarding relationships, like a blank white sheet of paper. That Fang Yuan is an otherworldly demon, he used spring-autumn cicada to rebirth. His actual age is probably older than both myself and your father. Fairy Bai Qing said in a solemn time. Most importantly, he is listed on the Demon Judgment Board, he is a vicious and evil demon, slaughtering countless and causing great harm to the world, he is very dangerous. But he saved father, Feng Jinhuang retorted. Fairy Bai Qing said in a serious tone, looking deeply into Feng Jinhuang's eyes, you must remember this, gratitude and enmity cannot be mixed together, you need to draw the line. His gratitude of saving your father's life was a coincidence, we will definitely repay him. But he is a demonic path member, he is vile and vicious, after repaying that debt, if we meet him again, we will exterminate him. Understood? Feng Jinhuang nodded. Understood. Southern border, Fang Yuan was inside the dream realm. Achoo! Achoo! Fang Yuan sneezed twice. He rubbed his nose as he said to the female GU master in front of him, again. The female GU master was at the counter in front of him, she took out 3 rocks, please. This was another dream realm. The earlier water path dream realm was too hard at the end, Fang Yuan gave up. A few days later, the dream realm changed, and a suitable one appeared for Fang Yuan. What made him happy was that successfully exploring this dream realm would raise his luck path attainment level. Luck Path GU Immortals were very few in numbers. Because even though Giant Sun Immortal Venerable created Luck Path, he did not spread it. Thus, dream realms that contained Luck Path true meaning were rare. It was unlikely that Fang Yuan could encounter such a dream realm. Fang Yuan looked at the 3 rocks, he knew that according to the rules, he would need to win 3 consecutive times, finding the most valuable item in these 3 rocks to get to the second scene. Rock gambling. I succeeded twice already, if I fail now, my efforts would be in vain, I should use Unravel Dream. Fang Yuan activated the Immortal Killer move Unravel Dream. After waiting for a while, nothing happened. What is going on? While he was confused, the female GU master who attended to him looked at him amorously and whispered, little brother, choose the middle one, don't worry, I won't harm you. Saying this, she winked at Fang Yuan in a subtle manner, it had a teasing flavor. Fang Yuan finally realized, this was Unravel Dream's effect. He did not hesitate, he grabbed the middle one. The 3 rocks were opened, none had any GU worms, but with the quality of the rocks themselves, the middle one had the highest value. The first scene faded, as he quickly entered the second scene. Northern Plains. Longevity Heaven. Rank 8 Immortal GU House, Calamity Luck Altar. 3 floors of round altars with multiple pillars holding it up, white jade railings and shining aurora. 8 GU Immortals in Longevity Heaven were standing at the center of the 9 corners of Calamity Luck Altar, doing their best to concentrate in controlling the operations of Calamity Luck Altar. At the center of Calamity Luck Altar, 5 Elements Grand Master had a solemn expression. He was surrounded by 3 layers of rings in the 5 elements, but Calamity Luck Altar's pressure was increasing. 5 Elements Grand Master had to use his true abilities to resist it. Both parties were silent, because it was clear that both sides could not be moved with just words. But at this moment, the entirety of Longevity Heaven resounded with bell chimes. The 8 extremities heard the bell chimes and shook. They were shocked and full of questions. This is the Immortal Killer move, ringing alarm bell. Why did it activate? In the past, Ancestor Giant Sun set up this Immortal Killer move in Longevity Heaven. If we met with trouble, it would activate. But 5 Elements Grand Master has already been trapped. The 8 extremities were conversing, feeling lost. The leader of the 8 extremities, Heaven Extremity, said, "No, even when 5 Elements Grand Master attacked, ringing alarm bell did not activate. Right now, it is pointing to another danger." The others were flustered. This means that the following calamity is going to be more severe than 5 Elements Grand Master's attack. Right now, we have to use our full strength to suppress 5 Elements Grand Master using Calamity Luck Altar. We cannot divert our attention. How will we deal with it? With Calamity Luck Altar here, heavenly tribulations and earthly calamities cannot do anything to us. It has to be a terrifying human calamity instead. The second in charge, Earth Extremity, looked at Heaven Extremity and said, "In this situation, we can only awaken the 4 Desolation Immortals." Heaven Extremity had a solemn expression as he nodded. 5 Elements Grand Master spoke with a smile. "Longevity Heaven can barely fend for itself. I am curious, what kind of disaster can make this ringing alarm bell activate?" Heaven Extremity was about to speak when a voice could be heard near him. "These so-called disasters are accompanied by fortune and good luck. They are luck path in essence, a type of uncertainty. As GU Immortals, we have to turn these negative uncertainties into positive uncertainties." The concept of Calamity Luck Altar was derived from this. Heaven Extremity heard this voice and felt great joy and surprise. 5 Elements Grand Master looked at this mysterious GU Immortal who appeared, asking, "Which of the 4 Desolation Immortals are you?" "Greetings to Lord South Desolation." The 8 extremities respectfully greeted at once, giving the answer to 5 Elements Grand Master. Longevity Heaven had 12 positions, separated into 8 extremities and 4 desolations. The 4 Desolation Immortals were East Desolation, South Desolation, West Desolation, and North Desolation, 4 rank 8 Immortals respectively. The 8 extremities were Heaven Extremity, Earth Extremity, Black Extremity, Yellow Extremity, Space Extremity, Time Extremity, Flood Extremity, Desolate Extremity, a total of 8 rank 7 GU Immortals. Of course, Longevity Heaven was Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's Grotto Heaven. It had a huge space and abundant resources. Other than these 12, there were other GU Immortals. But these 12 had the core authority of Longevity Heaven. They were elites among GU Immortals. South Desolation Immortal wore an azure gold suit of armor. His beard extended to his chest. He was a muscular man with an old appearance. He said, "When the bell rang, I woke up. This sound has 3 long notes and 2 short notes. It is neither fast or slow. It means that Love GU has entered Northern Plains. Love GU has the power to defy fate. In the past, even Ancestor was wary of it. To obtain Love GU, Ancestor made a bet with Heavenly Court, but he failed to refine it even after 3 years. He could only set up some supreme luck path methods in it that would activate one day. Love GU would come to Northern Plains due to luck, and this would be the best opportunity for us to snatch Love GU." Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's Immortal Killer move was very amazing. His descendants could gain some information just by hearing the bells. Even though the 8 extremities knew of ringing alarm bell, they did not know its specific details. After hearing South Desolation Immortal's words, they were excited. It turned out that long ago, Giant Sun Immortal Venerable had made his preparations. Heaven Extremity said, "As 8 extremities will follow Lord South Desolation's lead, we are willing to die for Longevity Heaven and obtain Love Immortal GU. Southern Border. This is Bai Shang Grotto Heaven." He Lu Lan stepped through the Immortal Aperture's entrance, officially getting into Bai Shang Grotto Heaven. Tai Bai Yun Shang, Ying Wuxie and Shi Nu followed behind. Something's not right. Ying Wuxie's expression changed. At the next moment, the surroundings changed. The GU formation was activated, trapping the 4 immortals in a special space. Bai Ningbing's figure slowly appeared. Shi Nu was shocked and furious. He growled, "You are Bai Ningbing. You dare to betray us. HMPH, remnants of Shadow Sect, today will be the day you die." Bai Ningbing smiled coldly, a cruel light was shining in her pale blue dragon eyes. Ying Wuxie was greatly surprised. Bai Ningbing had broken free of his control, this was out of his expectations. He had a flash of inspiration. "So that's it, you used the humans-alike dragon's GU refinement method." This method had been lost long ago, Bai Shang Grotto Heaven actually had it. "Honestly speaking, I need to thank you, now accept this present of gratitude from me." Bai Ningbing snickered, the image of the four immortals faded in front of her, before they vanished completely. "Wait, we can still negotiate." Ying Wuxie had not finished his words when the GU formation activated, large amounts of snow rained as countless ice spears shot up from the ground, the four immortals quickly defended themselves. Remains of Yitian Mountain, inside the Super GU formation. Fang Yuan opened his eyes, returning to reality. His soul was extremely weak, but it was not a problem, he had enough guts GU to use. Luck Path Master. Fang Yuan inspected himself, his Luck Path attainment had risen to master level. The Luck Path Dream Realm earlier was fully explored. He had no remaining uses of Unravel Dream, but his gains were huge, his Luck Path attainment had jumped from ordinary to master attainment level. He immediately felt a difference. This feeling was mystical, it could not be described with words. If my Luck Path attainment is at Grand Master level, I might want to get the Self-Luck True Inheritance from Langya Land Spirit, if I can use it well, my strength would rise greatly. In my current case, I feel like I can already use Unravel Mystery Immortal GU and Dogshit Luck Immortal GU together, to greatly boost the effect of my Immortal Killer move Chi Luck Sensation. Chapter 1239, filled with killing intent. Chi Luck Sensation. This Immortal Killer move came from Heifan Grotto Heaven, the inheritance of GU Immortal Feng Jun. It used Chi Luck Immortal GU as the core, with supplementary Mortal GU, to allow a GU Immortal to sense people who were closely related to them in terms of luck. Furthermore, the closer they were to each other, the clearer the connection would feel. Fang Yuan used this move to sense the locations of Ying Wuxie and the rest, even though they were separated by regional walls. This was because Ying Wuxie and the rest had their luck connected to Fang Yuan. After using Connect Luck, both parties would have their luck closely connected, they would share both fortune and disaster together. However, with Ying Wuxie's methods, he was able to negate a portion of the effect of Chi Luck Sensation, he even could hide inside an immortal aperture to cut himself off from Fang Yuan's detection. Fang Yuan was very wary of Ying Wuxie and gang, even though Shadow Sect was a fraction of its former size, a broken ship was still better than a plank, a dying camel was larger than a horse, by just gathering Shadow Sect's remaining resources, Ying Wuxie and the rest would grow much more rapidly than Fang Yuan and at a steadier rate. This time, after elevating Chi Luck Sensation, I should be able to detect the locations of Ying Wuxie and the rest. I will eliminate them in advance and get rid of this huge threat. Fang Yuan decided to add Unravel Mystery into Chi Luck Sensation, causing this killer move to have 2 cores instead of 1. Unravel Mystery Immortal GU is Wisdom Path, I should add some Wisdom Path GU in. After that, I will use some Groupthink GU and some Mortal Connect Luck GU, and some Pair GU and Sequence GU. Fang Yuan did not make any deductions, he was making decisions based on his instincts. A large number of Mortal GU were added in. Among these GU worm, a portion were owned by Fang Yuan, but he had to buy more of them through Treasure Yellow Heaven. Without any hurdles, soon, he obtained these GU worms. But next, he did not activate the Immortal Killer move immediately, he went to do further testing. After adding so many GU worms, Chi Luck Sensation had changed greatly, if he activated it blindly, he might just fail immediately, Fang Yuan might get injured, or worse, his GU worms might be destroyed. Destroying Mortal GU was fine, but if his Immortal GU were destroyed, what would he do? When GU Immortals create a new Immortal Killer move, the experimentation process was also very risky. Fang Yuan first separated the new Chi Luck Sensation into several portions and did experiments on them one by one. The results of the experiments were very good. Not a single one failed. Fang Yuan next used Wisdom Path methods to deduce, modify and improve on the newly created Chi Luck Sensation. Half a day later, Fang Yuan finally finished his deductions, he activated the newly modified Chi Luck Sensation for the first time. Halfway through activating it, a small problem that was beyond Fang Yuan's estimations occurred. It was not a big problem, but the result of success might possibly be affected. Fang Yuan was vigilant, he forcibly stopped the activation. Many Mortal GU were destroyed. Fang Yuan did not even blink at the result. As long as Chi Luck Immortal GU and Unravel Mystery Immortal GU were fine, it was no problem. He was very rich now. Expending some mortal GU was simply a negligible loss to Fang Yuan. As for the supplementary mortal GU, they did not need to be purchased. Fang Yuan had considered this situation long ago, thus he purchased more than what he needed for one activation. He continued to deduce and found out the reasons that resulted in this unexpected change. This time, Fang Yuan spent half a day again modifying the Immortal Killer move. After fixing it, he experimented again. This time, towards the later half of the Immortal Killer move, a mishap occurred again. The Immortal Killer move used too many GU worms. Fang Yuan could not completely deduce the entire process. Even though these small unexpected sparks appeared minimally, Fang Yuan still thought of inspecting them. He forcibly stopped the killer move once again. Be it Unravel Mystery Immortal GU or Chi Luck Immortal GU, they had to be used at the final juncture. Thus, although he lost many mortal GU, they were inconsequential. After repeated trial and error, he continued to deduce and modify it. Several days later, Fang Yuan finally obtained a relatively perfect version of Chi Luck Sensation. This Immortal Killer move used 3 times the number of GU worms as before, with 2 Immortal GU as the core, Unravel Mystery Immortal GU and Chi Luck Immortal GU, they were like 2 shining suns in the sky. Activating the new Chi Luck Sensation, a mystical feeling appeared inside Fang Yuan. First, he detected Yi Fan, Hong Yi, and Han Li. They were in southern border, central continent, and western desert respectively. The exact details were clearer than before, especially Yi Fan. Fang Yuan could tell that he was currently on Shangliang Mountain. The rest were more vague. Ying Wuxie and He Lu Lan appeared in Fang Yuan's detection again. It was vague, countless times less clear compared to Yi Fan. He also did not know their exact location, but Fang Yuan could tell the general area they were in. Strange, other than Ying Wuxie and He Lu Lan, there is a third person, but they are just as unclear as them. Don't tell me Ying Wuxie used Connect Luck Immortal GU to connect his luck with an unknown GU Immortal. Fang Yuan guessed the truth immediately. He frowned. Connect Luck Immortal GU was in Ying Wuxie's hands. This was no secret. This was Fang Yuan's weakness. Currently, Fang Yuan no longer used Spring Autumn Cicada, he sealed it. In regards to luck, with dog shit luck Immortal Goose protection, it had turned from a weakness to his strength. But Ying Wuxie and the rest were taking a portion of Fang Yuan's advantage. When Giant Sun Immortal Venerable developed in his early days, a lot of his success was attributed to this dog shit luck Immortal GU. But Fang Yuan was not enjoying it alone. His dog shit luck Immortal Goose effect was split among other people. If it was split equally with Yi Fan, Han Li, He Lu Lan, and Hong Yi, so be it. After all, these were 4 lucky people. But Ying Wuxie and that new GU Immortal were huge burdens. They were weakening the effects of dog shit luck. This direction to think that they are in southern border. Ying Wuxie and the rest need to be eliminated. After killing them, I will be truly safe. Nobody would come after the sovereign immortal body again. At the same time, after I kill them and remove the threat, my luck will rise greatly. The true power of dog shit luck would be unleashed. At this moment, Fang Yuan was filled with killing intent. He wanted to move immediately and get rid of Ying Wuxie and the rest once and for all. Central Continent. It is time, we can go now. Rank 8 GU Immortal Wei Lingyang shouted. His voice was hoarse. He had a middle-aged appearance with dark bags under his eyes and looked listless, giving others a feeling of extreme fatigue. But he was the strongest among the 3 rank 8 GU Immortals on this journey. He was tasked as the leader of this rescue mission. Along with him, there were Bai Chentian and Myriad Tidal Dragon. These 2 were rank 8 GU Immortals as well. Bai Chentian joined the Battle of Yitian Mountain and survived in the end. Myriad Tidal Dragon had higher seniority than Bai Chentian. Recently, he was given pointers by Duke Long. His strength rose again. Duke Long was old and it was difficult for him to fight once again, but he controlled the situation and immediately changed the way that Heavenly Court functioned. They sent out 3 rank 8 GU Immortals, all from Heavenly Court. They had phantom apertures but their battle strength greatly surpassed the rank 8 GU Immortals of the 10 great ancient sects. The Immortals acknowledged his words and split into 3 groups, entering 3 Immortal GU houses respectively. These 3 Immortal GU houses were Wind Cloud Manor's Wind Sweeping Building. It had 7 floors and had fluttering curtains. Heavenly Lotus Sect's Canary Pavilion, small and exquisite, filled with liveliness. Combat Immortal Sect's Edge-Linked Camp. It was a military stronghold with waving battle flags. Each Immortal GU house was guarded by a rank 8 GU Immortal. Zhao Lianyun was in the middle one, Wind Cloud Manor's Wind Sweeping Building. She was at the top floor, the safest place inside this Immortal GU house. Right now, our group is too powerful, we have 3 rank 8 GU Immortals as well as 3 Immortal GU houses. Victory is basically assured. Bu Gen Z followed behind Zhao Lianyun, saying this. Zhao Lianyun nodded, she was expressionless but her heart was jumping. Hong Yun, I am coming. You must persevere. The 3 Immortal GU houses were like shooting stars, flying towards the sky. Edge-linked camp was at the front, opening a path for the rest. Wind-sweeping building was in the middle, in charge of reinforcements. Canary Pavilion was at the back, looking out for unexpected situations. The heavenly wind chi wall was right before them. Boom. Edge-linked camp unleashed its might. Giant sharp horns were formed, resembling solid figures, as they stabbed into the heavenly wind chi wall fiercely. Without any resistance, they forcefully created a tunnel. Wind-sweeping building and Canary Pavilion followed after it quickly. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Wind-sweeping building continued to shake. Zhao Lianyun was also shaking at the top floor, almost falling down. Bu Gen Z was tongue-tied. It is said that the heavenly wind chi wall is thicker than the 5 regional walls. It seems to be true after seeing it myself. Our wind-sweeping building is just in the center, moving along the created tunnel, yet the heavenly winds are already causing us to be so unstable. It is hard to imagine what it is like inside Edge-linked camp. The heavenly wind chi wall was created by heavenly wind chi. Even after creating a tunnel, the wind would rush in and fill the gap very quickly. Thus, the 3 Immortal GU houses were very close together, almost touching the edges of each other. They continued to charge forward. Halfway through their journey, Edge-linked camp lost many GU worms, its charging power fell and it went to the back. Wind-sweeping building replaced Edge-linked camp's spot, taking charge of creating a path ahead. After a quarter of the journey, Canary Pavilion went to the front. This way, some days later, the 3 Immortal GU houses finally broke through the heavenly wind chi wall and reached Black Heaven. Right now, in the GU Master World, there were only Black Heaven and White Heaven left of the immemorial 9 heavens. It was clear why they did not choose White Heaven. It was to prevent exposing themselves. Black Heaven had natural concealment, it could help to hide the traces of the 3 Immortal GU houses to an extent. This way, the Central Continent GU Immortals would ensure that they had the advantage in launching a sneak attack on this journey. Chapter 1240, Usefulness of Attainment Level. Southern Border. Inside the Super GU formation. Fang Yuan recalled the power of Qi-Lux sensation, realizing the usefulness of attainment level. The process of elevating Qi-Lux sensation just now was quite tedious, but it was actually very easy. Everything flowed naturally like water running down a drain. Ordinary GU Immortals would face difficulty in trying to improve or complete an Immortal Killer move. For example, Vicious Lightning Fiend from Myriad Dragon Dock of the 10 Great Ancient Sects took years before creating the Immortal Killer move Lightning Deity. Vicious Lightning Fiend's Lightning Deity was deduced using the remnant recipe of Blood Deity. It involved both Lightning Path and Blood Path. Vicious Lightning Fiend had enough Lightning Path attainment level, but his Blood Path attainment was just ordinary. Thus, he had to spend years, using resources from Myriad Dragon Dock, to succeed with difficulty. This is the lack of attainment level, one can only deduce forcefully. Maybe high wisdom path attainment level can provide a lot of help, otherwise, inspiration or time would be needed. He Fan was a time path great expert, but even he had many Immortal Killer moves that were not completed after his death, right? However, once the attainment level is sufficient, deducing killer moves will no longer be deductions, it would be an instinct. It is extremely easy. Fang Yuan thought about it. Just now, he elevated the Immortal Killer move Qi-Lux sensation, he only spent a few days. But the results were shocking. When creating the framework of the Immortal Killer move, Fang Yuan did not think much, he only had a vague concept in his mind. Next, when he chose GU worms, as long as they were Luck Path or Wisdom Path Mortal GU, he had a strong instinct about the selection. Instinct, this was hard to imagine. It really was, but once the attainment level was sufficient, one's understanding towards GU worms and the concepts of Immortal Killer moves of the specific paths would turn into an instinct of the GU Immortal. This instinct was like a natural skill, as if one had it since birth. It was simple and effortless. Like how someone could breathe through their nose, it was a natural thing. Attainment level is one's understanding of the Great Tao. My Luck Path attainment is master level, this allows me to have acute sensations towards all contents of Luck Path. It is hard to describe with words. When elevating Qi-Lux sensation, I did not need to test anything, I already knew what GU worms would be suitable as the supplementary GU. Similarly, for Wisdom Path, I have Wisdom Path Grandmaster Attainment level. My understanding of Wisdom Path surpasses Luck Path, thus, I could perfectly fuse Unravel Mystery Immortal GU into Chi Luck Sensation successfully. Fang Yuan concluded and realized that the benefit of attainment level surpassed his former expectations. Being able to annex more immortal apertures was just a physical benefit. It had great effects on other aspects as well. If I raise all of my attainment levels to Grandmaster or even Great Grandmaster in the future, will I be able to create a terrifying killer move that uses all of the paths? Fang Yuan's thoughts started to wander. In fact, Spectral Soul had already reached this level. Perhaps this was why he could create Sovereign Immortal Fetus GU. Conceptualizing immortal killer moves was the same in essence as creating immortal GU recipes. Thinking of Spectral Soul, Fang Yuan subconsciously looked towards a certain direction in southern border. Not long ago, he had confirmed with Chi Luck Sensation that Ying Wuxie and gang were over in that direction in southern border. Fang Yuan had already known the rough range of their whereabouts. Even though Fang Yuan had deep killing intent towards Ying Wuxie and the others, he thought about it and decided to make some preparations before starting his assault. Even though Fang Yuan hatched the upper extreme Heavenly Eagle, it only had rank 6 battle strength. Ying Wuxie and the rest had wrong information, thinking that Fang Yuan had rank 8 battle strength, but he could not possibly use this non-existent power to kill them, right? In the previous battle in Eastern Sea, Fang Yuan saw the strength of Ying Wuxie and the others. This time, after a long while, Fang Yuan could not estimate whether Ying Wuxie and the rest had inherited Shadow Sect's resources and gained a huge boost in strength. To play it safe, Fang Yuan made a lot of preparations, just in case. He wanted to use this chance to get rid of this huge threat. Chi Luck Sensation was a great example. Fang Yuan had also already started to fuse Myriad Self and Sword Dragon transformation. Other than that, he even borrowed Immortal GU from Wu Clan. This was the benefit of joining Wu Clan. It was different from Langya sect, that was a sect and required sect contribution points. But Wu Clan was a clan. Fang Yuan's identity was Wu Yihai, the younger brother of Wu Yong. He had the closest bloodline relationship in the entire clan. Thus, when Fang Yuan asked to borrow some Immortal GU from Wu Clan's treasury, Wu Yong did not stop him, he agreed. In fact, Wu Yong was quite satisfied with Fang Yuan's recent performance. After Fang Yuan went to the Super GU formation, he held his side of the agreement and did not interfere in Wu Clan's politics. This allowed Wu Yong to easily gain control of Wu Clan. Secondly, Fang Yuan, who acted as Wu Yihai, perfectly handled the immortal opportunity business. He displayed great political abilities and prevented Ba Clan from interfering. He helped Wu Clan control the situation and defend their territory inside the giant dream realm. This was a contribution to Wu Clan. Wu Yong remembered Fang Yuan's contribution, thus he not only agreed to lend some Immortal GU from the treasury, he even lowered the cost of doing so. Fang Yuan paid a lot of Eastern Sea resources to borrow multiple Immortal GU. Among them were Strength Path Dragon Strength Immortal GU and Transformation Path Dragon Scales Immortal GU, they were all available. These Immortal GU were added to fuse Myriad Self and Sword Dragon Transformation, providing great help to Fang Yuan. Baishang Grotto Heaven. Inside the Super GU formation, He Lu Lan, Shi Nu, Tai Bai Yun Shang, and Ying Wuxie were at 4 spots, defending against Bai Ningbing. Howl howl howl. The Super GU formation was activated, intense winds blew, ice blades shot out, encircling the 4 GU immortals. With Ying Wuxie leading and the 3 immortals helping, they resisted the Super GU formation's pressure. Even though they were in a difficult state, the formation was still quite stable. Suddenly, a figure appeared in front of Tai Bai Yun Shang. It was Bai Ningbing, but only her upper body was present, her lower half was like smoke. Bai Ningbing appeared and charged towards Tai Bai Yun Shang. Tai Bai Yun Shang was the weakest among the 4 immortals. Bai Ningbing chose to attack him, it was the right choice. Tai Bai Yun Shang quickly retreated. In the battle earlier, he had already seen how powerful Bai Ningbing's attacks were. He suffered a lot due to it. If not for the other immortals' help, he would have died already. Change. Shi Nu, go. Seeing Tai Bai Yun Shang's predicament, Ying Wuxie quickly commanded. A white light appeared on all 4 of them, before a deep eerie sigh was heard in the sky. Shi Nu and Tai Bai Yun Shang had changed locations, swapping as Shi Nu faced Bai Ningbing's attack. Shi Nu grunted, defending against it. Tai Bai Yun Shang was behind Shi Nu. Seeing this, he quickly used his Cloud Path Immortal GU to heal him. Bai Ningbing is getting stronger. She is familiarizing herself with Bai Zhang's methods. She is in control of many Ice and Snow Path Immortal GU that Bai Shang had. The longer this drags on, the worse it will be for us. Damn it, Bai Shang Heavenly Spirit actually had the humans-alike dragon's GU refinement method. Wasn't this method completely eliminated by Duke Long? How could he have missed this? Also during the battle earlier, I sensed something in my luck. Fang Yuan actually raised his detection method to this extent, even if I hide inside an immortal aperture now, he would still discover me. Ying Wuxie was facing huge pressure. Bai Ningbing betrayed them and was getting stronger every minute. Ying Wuxie and the rest were desperately trying to defend against her, they could not leave. On the other hand, Fang Yuan knew where they were. But Ying Wuxie had the information that Fang Yuan possessed rank 8 battle strength. If he got here, Bai Shang Grotto Heaven could not block the immemorial desolate beast upper extreme heavenly eagle. This meant that Fang Yuan could appear at any moment. Ying Wuxie would not even be surprised if Fang Yuan showed up suddenly at the next moment. Bai Ningbing, stop it. Fighting would harm us both, only working together will bring benefits. Since you are now a dragon man, you are qualified to inherit the immortal GU House Dragon Palace. In the past, the Dragonmen were extremely powerful with a large number of GU immortals, they managed to create Dragon Palace. After the Dragonmen went extinct, Immortal GU House Dragon Palace has been secretly hidden in a certain area of Eastern Sea. My shadow sect knows roughly where it is, but only someone who has used the humans-alike dragon's GU refinement method to become a Dragonman GU immortal can inherit it. If you work with us, Dragon Palace will be yours. Ying Wuxie shouted. Bai Ningbing had no reaction, the Super GU formation was continuing to attack unceasingly. Ying Wuxie was stifled, he called out, Bai Ningbing, it will be too late if you don't stop. A great enemy whom we both know of is coming, he has a rank 8 level upper extreme heavenly eagle, and has already used luck path methods to find out our location. I am not lying to you, our luck vibrated earlier, you must have sensed it too, right? Bai Ningbing snorted, transmitting, I would like him to come here. I want to cooperate with him, even if I have to give up this Bai Shang Grotto Heaven, so be it. Ying Wuxie was anxious, he yelled, aren't we clear what kind of person he is? You are playing with fire, you will get burned to a crisp in the end. Wait, why do you want to cooperate with him? Bai Ningbing sneered, this is our business, it has nothing to do with you. The 4 of you should just die here. Ying Wuxie had a flash of inspiration, I know, you want that rotation GU in his hands. That's right, you used the humans-alike dragon's GU refinement method but turned into a dragon lady. You want to become a man, you need to solve the origin of the issue. I have the GU worm that you need. It is with me. What? Bai Ningbing was surprised. For the first time since the Super GU formation attacking Ying Wuxie had activated, it showed signs of slowing down.